Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Reiner Show Time, covering the $150,000 shootout at the Run for a Million. My name is Chelsea Sutton, and today your host is Reiner founder Shelley Bryan, with expert reining judges Brian Dygert and Mario Boisjoli. Saddle up, it's showtime.
Hello and good evening. Welcome to today's Bluebonnet Reiner Show Time. We are absolutely thrilled to have you joining us today. My name is Shelley Bryan. I will be your host today, and you will hear my partner in crime. We had a lot of fun if you saw us at the Run for a Million. Chelsea Sutton will be on the mic. Now, I am joined by over 70 years of judging expertise. Next to me is Mr. Brian Dygert, who is a past NRHA president, holding his card for over 35 years, and was incredibly important in the creation of the Judges Monitor role that we currently use today. And then next to him, we are so excited to welcome our guest today. We have Mario Boisjoli, and he has been a judge for over 42 years, an NRHA judge for over 42 years. So there might be a little experience right here that we're going to be able to share with you today. He has been on the NRHA Judges Committee as well as the teaching panel, and has judged horse shows on 5 continents. So quite the resume, and we are excited to have him join us today. Now, together, Chelsea and I strive here at Reiner to bring you relevant and timely information with the focus and goal of creating transparency and increasing integrity within the industry. Now, we do this through 2 different ways. One is our Reiner TV, which is held on Facebook. These are weekly podcast episodes where we bring on experts to talk about various topics within the equine industry, absolutely free to everyone. Now, our other service that we provide is what you are participating in today. That is our Bluebonnet Show Time. Now, this show time is what I want you to think about is like an ESPN Sports Center meets horsepower. We are going to be discussing the judges system and all of the analysis that comes with, the complexities of judging a reining pattern, how fast it happens, and everything in between. Now, what's fun about this and everything that Chelsea and I do here at Reiner is we are so focused on audience interaction. We love that. And so if you are joining us on Facebook, YouTube, as well as the website, you have the opportunity to comment in and or provide questions. Now, those questions will be filtered into me from our team, which I'll be able to share with our experts, and in hopes that we actually have a run or something in a run to be able to answer that question visually for you. Now, I want to invite you. There are no bad questions out there, and I promise you, if you have a question, someone else watching today will most likely have that same question. So we encourage you and invite you to please share those questions with us. Now, as we get started today into this Bluebonnet Show Time, we are covering amazing competition, right, gentlemen?
Whoa.
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 It is very exciting. And, Chelsea and I had the opportunity to view it live and then come back and actually provide this analysis today. Is so exciting. But we are covering the wow, it's hard to even say that. It's crazy. $150,000 open shootout that was just held at the Run for a Million at the South Point Casino in beautiful Las Vegas. Now, we had over 51 runs, and today we're going to be viewing the top 9, plus an additional 6 runs with some great teaching opportunities and opportunities for further explanation of the judges system. So, I'd just like to talk real quick about the whoa that you just said. You did a great comparison, Brian, on this competition versus what we saw in March, which was a qualifier.
Yes. Well, the simple piece was in March, I said it was probably the best open reining I've ever seen in my lifetime. Mm-hmm. Well, I just topped it, or we just topped it as an industry. Mm-hmm. We all just saw an even better open reining, mm-hmm. this shootout. Well, 51 runs, but you had 30 horses that were marking 220 or better. So we used to talk about that and dream about it in our younger days. you know, we knew this day was somewhere in the future. We're here.
Now
so
we're
it's
here.
like, it's here. Yeah. So
and how fun that we have technologies like what we're going to experience
it's even
today
better.
to be
It's
able
even
to
better.
share it with everyone.
Right. We used to do it on VHS tape.
VHS.
That was before.
I was gonna throw, like, I mean, the gray hair's there, but I was really gonna go for it with the VHS. But before I do, Mario, let's talk about this concept of strategic focus as a judge. Can you share a little bit about that?
I would be happy to. I'm so excited to be involved in what you're doing here, and yeah, you know, Brian's absolutely right. The reining in Las Vegas was just outstanding, and I can't wait to talk about that some more. But I don't hear people talk a lot about strategic focusing, and I don't know why, because it's very important. When you judge a reining or any event, you don't want to miss anything, but you cannot watch everything all the time. If you try to do that, you will miss a lot. And so the way to miss the least amount of things, to me, is what I call strategic focusing. And I'll give you some examples when you're judging a reining. When I judge a spin, at the end of the spin, I'm going to watch the front feet to determine whether or not there was an overspin or an underspin. When a horse comes out of a rollback, I'm going to watch the back feet to see if he trots out. I can't watch the front feet because the front feet are supposed to be moving. But if the back feet do this and make trot steps, then I know there's a penalty. Most penalties occur at transitions. And most of the transitions are at what I call ground zero, which is the middle of the arena. You've got canter departures, slowdowns, accelerations, lead changes. So there's a lot going on there, and there's a very high probability that there will be a penalty within 20 feet of the middle of the arena. So when you're judging a reining, and this particularly applies to a major event like a finals or something like that, maybe on a weekend show somebody will reach up in a class where they're only allowed to use one hand and two-hand a horse. Maybe that'll happen, and you don't want to miss it. But if you're judging the finals of a major event, nobody's two-handed. So you need to have your gaze on that horse's back feet. Because if he breaks gait or he falls out of lead when he comes through the middle, which even a good horse can do, you'll miss it if you're not watching the back feet when they come through the middle. So those are examples of strategic focusing. And, you know, we talked about it before the show, and I think it's something that people really ought to pay attention to. And you can read the rules and you can hear people talk about judging like we're doing now, but the only way as a judge you can develop that skill is by watching thousands of runs. So we call it training your eye, and I guess technically you're training the part of your brain that processes all this information. But you have to watch thousands of runs so that when I watch a reining horse, I can't not notice if it's out of lead. You see what I'm saying? So anyway, those are some examples of strategic focusing.
It makes complete sense, Mario. Just in the short time that I've had the opportunity to announce it with you, but with Brian and Jody previously, like how quick your eyes as judges pick up stuff that I didn't see until we came back to the slow motion replay. You know, it's amazing, and it's that training that you've gone through. Now, what thoughts do you have on that subject, Brian?
Well, he's 100% correct, and that is the developed skill over time. As a sport, what we all have to do, especially as the audience, the gate watchers, the rail watchers, it doesn't matter how we're watching.
Backseat drivers.
We all have opinions. The importance is the hard decisions that have to go into this. And as a simple piece, we had 51 runs for the 150,000 shootout. That's 2,040 decisions that were made in those 5.5 hours. That is now splitting up 30 horses that are marking 220 or better. So 30 horses, not 3, 30.
Out of 51.
Correct.
I mean,
which
significant.
Is,
Was that 60% of the class?
Yes. Yes. So that's a simple piece and that's where a strategic focus has to truly come in, but you have to develop that over time. And so a casual fan, be careful because you have to pay attention at that level in order to truly be able to have analysis on what the officiating system is or is not doing.
Wow. Wow. Have you ever thought, I love those that are viewing with us right now, have you ever thought about that strategic focus? I know that, you know, we all like to participate and judge as we're going along, but now learning more about that focus, it's like we know where to control our eyes so that maybe we won't miss some of these things. And I think you're going to pull a lot of it from today. Now, as we continue on, I'm going to ask Brian to share some statistics from the horse show. But I just want to, everyone that's tuning in right now, we have a global audience here at Reiner Stop, truly global, and we absolutely love it. Let us know in the comments. Again, we are monitoring those right now. Let us know where you are tuning in from and what device you are tuning in from. Are you on your phone, a tablet, a laptop? Are you streaming to your TV? Let us know what device you are streaming in from, because we always want to make sure that we make this accessible to you. All right, so let's get into some statistics.
Okay, well,
he's our numbers guy.
Yep. Well, the average spread on a 150,000 shootout, 51 runs, the average spread is exactly where it has been, where it is, where we are in the industry, which is 1.5 points. So that's the average spread per run. You actually had 75% of all the runs were within a 2-point spread. Now, we did see in this particular reining a little bit, our maximum spread was 4 points on a run. So the maximum spread on any given run was a 4-point spread. But normal is in the 2-point. So that's exact 75% of all these runs were within a 2-point. We only hit bingo once. And you know my term of bingo. Because
share with our audience, because I know we have a lot of new viewers.
Right. Well, my bingo term is when all judges mark the exact same score. So now it doesn't matter. They all saw it the same way. What I've always told you is that's rare. That's rare. That's why we use multiple judges. We use multiple judges because the sum of the parts is way more valuable than the parts by themselves. So multiple experts putting in their independent analysis comes out to a sum, to a score, and in this case it's 228 that's winning it. So what do we've got to get focused on? It's the sum of all of that valuable expertise. And so that's what we had.
I love that. And you know what? After our discussion last night and again this morning, we're going to talk a little bit more about that in our post show, because I think that there are some things as an industry that we can do to further advance. I mean, we're moving ahead at light speeds right now. We want to make sure that we keep up with it.
Yes, but what we all have to get used to is spreads in individual scores is normal. I actually would tell you it's healthy, and then I would tell you one more. That's because it's hard. And with the depth of the competition we're now, I just told you 30 horses were capable of marking 220 or better. That's 73.5 on an individual card or better. In our lifetime, we haven't seen that. So that's how many we have. That's how far we've come to. So yes, so it's normal.
I was just going to say one more time for those in the back. Repeat what you first said, if you remember, because it was a while ago. I'm just kidding. About spread scores. Normal or not?
Normal.
Okay.
Spread scores are normal. Where the industry is within 2 points per run. True. That's true.
Yep.
I would tell, anyways, that's true. It's normal. 2 point spread per run is a normal spread.
Okay, you heard it here from our expert. Again, spreads are normal. We have actually had numerous conversations about this on previous show times, so I would recommend, I believe our NARS is up just a few more days. We'll get the exact date on that. I believe it's up till the 25th, but spread scores are normal. I know that as an exhibitor myself, right? I've walked out and you look at it and you're like, well, that judge knows what he's talking about, but that judge has no idea what they're talking about,
Correct.
right? The high and the low.
We're going to talk about that one too, but I would challenge us as an industry, maybe we should quit talking about spreads. Let's call it something different, a differential, because it's a differential of expert viewpoint, period.
Yep.
Period. So is there a differential of 5 experts? The answer is yes. These 5 did a phenomenal job. Some of the best work I've seen in my career.
Yeah, we're definitely getting into it. But before we do, I want to share, we've got a couple things in our Showtime pre-show. One of them is a great story, and I think you guys need to hear it, because one of the benefits of having these experts with us is the stories, the evolution of our current reining that we know today. It has definitely changed, but there's so much history behind it. And sharing the relevance, I think, is very fun and important. And Mario has a great story for us to jump into. I'm going to just tell you guys, I'll name them off here after Mario's story, but we have ridiculous giveaways from our sponsors that I'm going to keep you hanging. They are so good. Hundreds of dollars of giveaways. You guys are going to want to make sure that you are participating And then I will have specific instructions throughout Showtime, throughout our Bluebonnet Show Time, to share those with you. Now, before we get started, Mario, share this story with us, would you?
Sure. You know, yesterday we were talking a little bit about the history of the National Reining Horse Association and the major events. And back in the early 80s, what we now call NRHA Derby, I think it was called the Maturity at the time, and it was held in Raleigh, North Carolina, and the Jim Hunt complex that all the horse shows are at now wasn't even built yet, and it was in the old Dorton Arena. And we used pattern 1 for the first go-round, and an exhibitor came in, and I don't think he'd mind if I use his name because he's one of our best NRHA judges, a young man named Kelly Sapp, and he's judged every major event I think we have, and he does an excellent job, and one of our best judges. But I'm not sure. Kelly might have been in youth at this time because this is a long time ago. And so he comes in pattern 1, and they open the gate, and he gallops in, he runs to the far end of the arena, and he does a left roll back, and he heads back to do a second roll back. And I'm not exactly sure what happened, but there was some sort of breakdown of communication between him and the horse. And when he asked the horse to stop, it just sort of didn't slow down at all and hit another gear and started running for the gate where they'd come in. And by the time he got to the gate, he was running about as fast as the horse could run and not even looking at the gate. And he hit it so hard, you know, it was one of those double gates with a latch in the middle, and he hit it so hard he just broke the latch, and the gate swung open like that. And Kelly just galloped off at high speed out into the parking lot, completely out of sight. So everybody's kind of looking around and like thinking, what do we do now, you know? And next thing you know, all of a sudden, here comes Kelly back in the arena, and he comes back. Who knows what happened out in the parking lot? He comes back and he runs past center marker, stops, backs up, and does the rest of pattern 1. Well, that's when the judges committee got together and decided that we needed a break of gate penalty. So,
it's in the rule book.
The origination, 2-point penalty, breaking the gate.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Literally breaking a gate.
When you break gate.
I love it. I love it. So thanks for sharing that story. If you guys like that story, give us an emoji, your favorite emoji in any of the comments. Really, really, just thanks, Mario. It's fun. We do a lot of laughing together, I will say that. So I'm so glad we're able to share that with you. Now, as we get going into the competition here today, I just want to share again that we are not affiliated with any association. We are a true third-party media company, and what that means is that this is just unbiased, and we are providing the expert knowledge to you guys. So we are not judging the competition. We are talking about the complexities of judging this competition. And what a competition it was.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yes. Yep.
Whoa.
You're going to hear that a lot. Whoa. Yeah, burr.
Now, I want to talk about some of these giveaways, and I am going to list them off, but I have to have a list. That's how many there are. So keep that in mind here. Now, again, I just want to say thank you again. You can see up in the top a little addition. So Bluebonnet is our naming partner for today's Showtime, and we are so thrilled to have them on board with us. Now, what I would like the first person to do, Chelsea's actually the one monitoring this right now, is if you are viewing on Facebook, share this feed, share this over to your personal feed. So just click that share button and post, and it will go right over there. Those that share, Chelsea is going to select our winner for a $50 Show Stop and Pad gift certificate. And I know Jewel with Show Stop and Pads is heading over to Tulsa. So if you're going to be at Tulsa, you could spend this right away. Otherwise, she has a beautiful website that she updates all the time. And then we're also going to do a quick trivia question. So we just got some history. Now we're going to do a quick trivia question for a giveaway. This is a 1 gallon of Osteomax from 100X Equine. So with that, let's, which trivia question? I have a good one. All right, this one is actually perfectly tied. What year, so this trivia question, whoever answers this in any of the comments, we're monitoring all of them, will win 1 gallon of 100X Equine's Osteomax. It is, what year was the first $150,000 prize awarded at the Futurity? What year did that happen? comment below and we will select our winner. All right, just stay tuned. Our post show, we have a Yeti with a Stride travel program. We have travel ready program. We have more gift certificates, Holla. We have more from 100X Equine. We have more from Show Stop and Pads. We have a very special and unique gift from Blue Collar Horse Company, some Apple AirPods. Who could use those? So we have some great things coming. So with that, let's go ahead. I will announce the winner here shortly of those 2 first prizes, but let's go ahead and bring up our leaderboard.
Here, as you're seeing, we've seen 3 horses already in the competition, and you're seeing them in order based on your first place. We're going to start today's competition with draw 4. Craig Schmersel is currently in the first place spot with Hey Roy. Coming in second place, current standings, Josh Tishman, Who Dat Hot Chick, and currently standing at third is Matt Mills with Wimpy's All In. As a reminder, we'll be covering 15 of the best runs from today's open shootout here at the Run for a Million. You'll be seeing your top 9 placings plus 6 of some of the best runs that you won't want to miss. Keep in mind, thank you to 100X Equine. You'll be able to see leaderboards all throughout the show. You're going to see these on every drag break as we explain the best runs coming through the competition.
All right. So we are actually going to be showing these horses in draw order. That's why our leaderboard just had 3, because our first horse that we're going to see came in original draw 4, but it is our draw 1.
We're now going to welcome in original draw 4. 4:59, all bets are off. Andrea Fapani will be riding for Rancho Oso Rio, Woodside, California. This horse is sired by Gunner and out of Wimpy's Little Chick. Your on-deck horse will be draw 6, I Shine at Night, Jordan Larson, showing for Nicole McDevitt. And in the hole, we'll see draw 9, Magnum's Custom Dream, and Casey Hinton.
Oh, we just saw this horse at Reining by the Bay.
Yes, we did. But this is a new horse show.
New horse show.
And this is very good. Very good.
Plus
Very
1.
good. Yep. Easy +1.
Let's go ahead and bring up our maneuver evaluation graphic, please.
1, 2, 3, 4.
+1.
Again. Yep.
So those of you that are viewing with us right now, this maneuver evaluation graph completely goes along with the judges' score. So you're going to hear the gentleman use words like correct, good, very good, excellent, and you can see the correlating score with it.
It's a 1 with a half-point penalty. It's what you got. Your choice was he wanted to go up to excellent, but he hopped in that last one, and so you got to deal with all that.
Yeah.
So,
He was on his way to excellent, but the finish was not good. I mean, not even counting the penalty, the finish was rough, and then there was also a penalty. So it was like a +1 with a penalty half.
First
How about
small
these
slow
reins,
circle.
though?
This
Like,
is,
I
well,
mean-
this is good. Nice sloper, nice small slow. Comes across the middle, honest and true between the reins. He's on good, easy, working his way up to very good here. So,
Yeah.
yep, we got one more to go. Good mover, well balanced, very consistent. These are all very good so far as a maneuver. Time for the lead change, and I would. Very good.
Yeah.
Yep.
+1.
And again, that's a tough transition. You saw it. That's why the dirt's skedaddled. Change leads, slow down, turn.
I mean, that's a significant degree of difficulty doing that. Absolutely.
When you do it in one stride, it is extremely difficult. So this is
He's
very
hitting the
good.
center.
Yep.
Every time he comes through the end of a circle, it's right in front of that cone on the opposite side of the arena, which was where it should be. Yeah.
Yep.
+1.
And again,
Wow.
easy,
Very good.
easy.
consistent. You notice how consistent this horse is? It's not hot and cold.
And he just marked a huge score of rain, by the way.
Big stop, nice turn.
And
Plus
good
one.
roll. Yep, good rollback. Rollbacks are the deciders on these maneuvers. They truly are.
And that's the thing, is that the maneuver is not done until the rollback is complete.
Complete. He's got to be, yep, that,
Runs down nice, stops nice,
yep.
goes back, +1. Right over his tracks. Not a U-turn, not a overturn. Very precise. But, you know, the trick to reining is to be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be. Big stop.
And up there. Whoa.
Wow.
And wow.
Wow.
Yep.
+1.
You betcha.
Our scores are coming in for All Bets Are Off and Andrea Fapani, a 227 1/2. We're now going to be looking for draw number 6. This is back number 43, I Shine at Night. Jordan Larson is riding for Nicole McDevitt. This is a Gunner's Special Night out of Shiny Enterprise.
I also just want to remind everybody that is tuning in with us right now, if you have a question on one of the runs or just something that you remember back from watching, because this was televised, you can see Andrea's happy with his score there. Please make sure, get those questions in there. We are gathering all of those right now. We love all the commenting and the engagement happening. Keep those questions coming. We've got some great reining to watch.
This is as good as it gets. It's as good as it's ever been in my lifetime.
And it's not just like one horse.
No. Well,
like that's it.
Horse after horse after horse.
I've seen some jaw-dropping runs over the years. But it was like one here, one here, one here. And I mean, I can tell you stories about them because they stood out. And here's an entire class of horses like this.
Very good.
Whoa.
And, yep. He says, yes, sir. I'm a-coming.
This one.
Yep. Easy.
I love it. It's a gelding too.
2, 3, 4. I plus it a half. It's easy good, but now you can start to. We're talking about how good stuff is now.
I mean, you know, it's definitely above average, but I thought it lacked a little bit of cadence.
2. Yep. And again.
I'm going to +1 the second set of spins.
And those are the decisions that you have. And again, so where are we? We're a half-point differential.
I was just going to say that. Like, there's a spread, right?
There you
There's
go.
the beginning of a spread to a total score, right?
So on individuals, we're only that, but it's going to be when you put us together. What does that mean? First, small, slow, across the middle.
Yeah.
And I mean, these riders in this class too,
Yeah,
just so precise.
very precise, and that's one of the reasons they win a lot.
This
You know,
is
judges
good.
are looking for precision.
A little bit on the safe side of the inside and middle, but this is good. This is easy good. Now you're talking about on his way to very good. Time to change leads and slow down. Yep, easy.
+1.
And I would.
Yeah.
+1, keep going.
When do you look to give credit for that transition? Like,
When it happened.
so how long do they have? How long do they have in that small slow to actually like come back?
Well, they have
I
three,
mean,
by the rule and by the middle, it's 3
Okay.
strides. What does the exhibitor show you is what you have to now sort through. So an exhibitor, the horse and rider that can do it in 1 to 3 strides is very difficult. A horse and rider that takes 6 strides, quarter circle is not as difficult. And again,
Very
yep,
good.
Yep, very good.
I don't
+1,
expect the horse to slow down in 1 stride. So the less time he takes to do it, the better. But I don't mind if it's very smooth and very willing and it's got finesse. I don't mind if they take a couple strides to do it. That's not offensive.
Yep.
Plus one.
Good. You bet.
Big stop, nice turn.
All right, we're getting some questions in. Keep them coming.
It's degree of difficulty.
Yeah.
And then you have to be following a general. So that's the rest of the answer.
Plus half.
Yeah, and I agree.
I thought he waited too long to turn. When he finally turned, it was okay, and I give them a heartbeat in there, but I thought he just waited a little too long to ask him to turn. So I couldn't get to one.
And I think he played it safe by being closer to the wall.
I was wondering about.
And so again, you can see how much he's more to the middle on this one. So.
Plus half the last stop.
Yep.
Let's see what your judges in the chair thought for Jordan Larson and I Shine at Night. Scores coming in now for that ride, a 226.
You know, we're now talking about the difference of 75 and 76, or 75 and 75 and a half.
Yeah.
Well, that's your red car, blue car. You're
Both amazing. They're both going to do the job. They're both beautiful. They're, you know what I mean?
That is correct. Yep.
He's happy.
Let's see who's headed in next. This will be original draw 9, back number 67. Casey Hinton is coming in on Magnum's Custom Dream for Casey out of Whitesboro, Texas.
Well, to my understanding here, we got. Sorry.
Nope, go ahead.
Well, you got two things going on. Not only do you have a significant purse of $150,000, but top 6 riders are getting qualified for next year's Run for the Million.
There's a little bit of pressure.
There's a lot. Yep, they all want. So being second right now, which I used to be second a lot, is not a bad thing.
No.
Coming in now, Magnum's Custom Dream, sired by Magnum Chick Dream, is out of Gonna Be Custom.
Nice rundown. Good stop. I don't think the back adds anything to it.
Good. Let's have.
What would you look for in the back to add something?
He almost slowed down as he backed.
Okay.
Instead of building speed.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Oh, yep. I plus 1.
Okay.
Yep.
What do you think, Mario?
I plus halved him, and I don't have a problem with the one at all. So to me, that's a plus 1 with a penalty half.
Yep, me too.
Okay.
That's
So
exactly
it was
what
a
I
very good spin, but he didn't finish it.
Yep.
And the right hind foot was, you could see daylight between the right hind foot and the left front foot when the motion stopped.
yet.
So that's
Right.
that's
No,
your
I-
penalty.
I thought you had.
Yeah. I know.
Remember, we were talking about the strategic focusing, and I was saying, watch those front feet at the end of a spin. There's
There
a
it
great
is.
example right there.
I love that. Let's
is-
review that.
this
We'll
is
review
good.
that when we get to the drive. Now, we did have a question come in. This is from Natalie, and she asked, are you looking for the second fast circle to be faster than the first?
It should be equal or slightly more, because all the maneuvers are built on forward momentum that has some sort of increase. But the two big fast, those are exhibitor dictations, so it should be equal to at least. And good.
Yeah, plus half.
Yeah.
So the horse is allowed to take some strides to build speed. I don't expect them to be at top speed in one stride. So by definition, the second fast circle overall is going to be faster than the first one. And that's not offensive as long as it's done smoothly and they don't take too long to speed up the first fast circle.
Yeah.
This one wasn't quite as good and got in a little bit of steering trouble in a couple spots, and I zeroed it.
I
So,
agree. Yeah, he
Which
had
is correct.
He had some rough spots there.
Yeah. Plus half, penalty half.
Exactly. Big stop, turn was a little watered down, and then he trotted out. Strategic focusing, back feet, right? What do we watch
boom.
at the end of a rollback? The back feet.
Yep. You gotta. You'll miss it. And I zeroed this.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't hold the ground.
I was just
Exactly.
going to ask why a zero. A zero correct. It's
You
correct.
have good and bad going together, and so you gotta. It's correct, fundamentally
It
correct.
was predominantly correct, but he had. I don't like a horse to pick up his feet. Once they go down, they should stay down.
He stumbled in there, and I zeroed that again.
I'm in a plus half then.
Yeah.
And he did stumble, but there was a lot of good stuff to it.
So on 3 of those maneuvers, we're within a half point of each other, but there you go.
I was
so
just
again,
thinking-
it's a differential. That's all. That's why you have us. That's why you have us. That's why we have 5 of them in
Yes.
live, Jaron. Yes, that's why.
We're going to talk about this more, but the first 2 horses to me were straightforward. And this horse has a lot of good stuff, but it wasn't straightforward. There was some good stuff with a few rough spots. And when they're not straightforward, that's when you start to see one guy interprets it this way and the other guy interprets it that way. And that's as Brian said in the beginning, that's perfectly normal.
I love that example, or the way that you just shared that. It was very helpful in just showing how it happens, right? It was tough to judge. It wasn't just so easy.
Scores are in for Casey's ride, Magnum's Custom Dream, a 224 1/2. We're now going to see Original Draw 12, 428, May the Force Be With You. Mirko Medili will be showing. May the Force Be With You is sired by Spook's Got a Whiz, and out of Jack Golden Faith.
Mirko in from Italy.
Yep, I heard that. Yeah. Right on the bubble. The stop itself has a little bit of an interruption in it, so you got to either plus half it or zero it. So,
I'm in a plus half.
yep. Oh,
Plus 1.
yep, and a half. Me.
And that's
You would. Oh.
Me.
it's
Excellent,
no good.
very
That's
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's good. It's good.
That's excellent.
Plus 1.5.
And again, yep. They were not the same, but they both were excellent. That's
What's-
mine. That's mine.
Yeah.
What's fun is we don't typically see the judges in the arena. You guys are so stoic, and so
Right.
to see the excitement that they share when they see something so good, or excellent.
Well, somebody I respect very much scored the first spin higher than I did, but he made it easy the second time. I didn't. I only had one way to go, so I was like, "Thank you, Mirko. You made it easy for me."
Right. We are correct right now in these circles.
We had another great question, and as we are approaching a slowdown here, this one actually came from Christian.
Just had me
Okay.
thinking about early, but I go zero on the circles and nothing, but he had me thinking on an early lead change. So, which again, you're in difficulty. So
And
we're back
potentially
to
safe
correct.
right there.
Correct.
Yep.
Very safe.
He was borderline early, so the way I handle that is I was thinking about maybe plus half in it, and I'm not going to give him the early lead change penalty, but I'm going to reduce the maneuver score and just give him a 0.
Give it correct.
Yeah.
Zero. And
What? Yeah.
I do.
No.
The biggest piece is, and you can see the difference now, this horse is being controlled, but he's not as willing. He just doesn't give you the attitude and the authority that the others have. So the correctness is there, but and this,
Plus 1.
yes, plus 1.
Wow.
So there you go.
Yeah.
That's our system working.
Yeah, and it says in A General, credit shall be given for smoothness, for finesse, for authority, for willingness, you see? So I want to see those things when they go around.
Yep. Again, I
This
would
one.
watch this horse's expression. You're going to see him go from being happy and all that to being asked, and but when he was being asked in his circles, he was not giving you that same willing expression. He's Look at, which is good. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to +1 the last maneuver too.
Wow.
You know, in this day and age, the way these horses are bred, you know, back when Brian and I first started showing and started judging even, I mean, they didn't all do all the maneuvers. Some of them didn't stop, some of them just changed ways. Well, now they all do all of the maneuvers. So it's not like they, you know, they don't do the pattern or they don't do the maneuver. So it really gets down to who's the most willing, you see? You can't say, well, he didn't stop, that's why he didn't win. Well, yeah, he did stop, but it's the other one did it more willingly, and that's why he beat him. So that's what we're looking for.
Very good. Very good. Love this competition.
Your scores are coming in for 428. May the force be with you. Mirko Medili, a 224 1/2. Here on Reiner Stop Showtime, we're going to see one more before your drag break. This will be original draw 13. This is back number 70. Trash Your Gal. Sean Flaherty will be riding for Jody McCutcheon of Whitesboro, Texas. Trash Your Gal is sired by Gonna Trash Ya and out of I'm a Sailor's Gal.
So the horse opened its mouth a little there, but I forgave it because I didn't think it was significant on this maneuver.
It's an easy one, and you could talk about a 1.5, I think, as well, just as well. So take a pick.
+1.
And you have
+1.
1. Yep. Wasn't perfect, but it was in the very good to excellent.
1, 2, 3, 4.
+1.5.
+1.5.
Yep.
He made it easy for us.
It's excellent.
Thank you.
Well,
making it easy.
And how about like his time in between, right? The two spins. What are your thoughts on that? Or lack of time in between two spins?
Well, he took a breath, and then he said, we're going left. Horse said, yes, sir, I'm going.
A reining pattern is like a song, right? There's a rhythm, there's a tempo, right? And sometimes you can take too long, and sometimes you can hurry. But if you hearing the music, then you're going to hesitate when it's time to hesitate, but not too long. And then when it's time to do the next thing, you're going to do it. And that's one of the things that I factor into my feeling about a run, the barometer that you guys talk about. Is the guy that rushes the pattern or the guy that takes too long? And both of those can be detracting.
This is working on a very good set of circles. And that's your choices between +1/2 and a +1, and that's your individual expertise. And so I would go a 1.
Yeah, me too. He hits the middle again, you know, seasoned veteran. He knows that precision wins, and he's going to find the middle and he's going to hit it.
Love these questions coming in, everybody. We are going to get to a few of these.
He actually
coming up.
helps him on this whole quarter of the circle, and that's the one spot. And so I would have gone +1/2.
I agree.
We're still good, but that's the differentiating factor from going to a very good.
He had to do what I call a little reminding there, and it was pretty noticeable. You see the mouth there? The first time I forgave him, but I'm going to +1/2 that because I thought that time the mount and the way the horse opened its mouth showed resistance, so it took credit away from otherwise what would have been a very good maneuver.
And I'm in the exact same spot. I would have done the same thing.
+1.
And I +1/2.
I mean, it was very long. It was like long, but it seemed like it was like not easy.
I would have done it again. 1/2. That's what I would have done. Good.
I'm going to +1 the last maneuver.
It's okay.
That's a very good stop.
You bet.
Very good.
Very good
That's
stop.
the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
All right. Well, and congratulations. It was announced, I believe, that Sean Flaherty is a new $7 million rider. Easy to see why, right? After we see runs like that from Sean, and that's definitely not his first time. Now, as we go into our first drag and review, brought to you by Rancho L14 as well as 1030. Gosh, we have so many great questions, so many things that are coming in that we're also going to review. So I'm really excited about that. That being said, I do want to announce our winners from those first two trivia, or excuse me, the first two. Well, one was an action, one was a trivia question. Patty, you won the $50 Show Stoppin' gift certificate for the share on the Facebook feed. Thank you and congratulations for that. And then Claire Trafton, excuse me, my type here is a little small. You won the trivia question. So the question was, what year was the first $150,000 prize awarded at the fraternity? And it was in 2000. So 22 years ago was the first $150,000 prize at the fraternity. Like what was the biggest event in our industry. Now that just happened in a shootout class at the Run for a Million. How cool is that when you put that in perspective with growth in the industry?
Very cool.
Very cool. All right, let's go ahead, and I actually want to bring up, because I think this is a great comparison, we're going to bring up exhibitor number 43, maneuver 7. So this is Jordan Larson, and we're going to look at his last two stops. Just to kind of compare the two, I believe it was a half and a 1, so that we could see the difference. And just for our viewers that may be new to reining, what was the first, where does the maneuver start?
In the first stride in this one.
First lope stride out of the right rollback.
Correct.
Okay, so it's all the way around.
Yep. Yep. In a way, and see where he's more towards the wall side, less difficulty, and so I gave him the half, which was a difficulty function.
What are your thoughts? Does this add to it where the horse lopes out, long rein, just with the rider? Does that add anything to this next part of the maneuver?
I think there's a point of diminishing returns with the super long floppy reins. So I think the second stop was better than the first one, the stop itself. And then, of course, there's no rollback, so we can't compare those two parts. But he stayed in deep. And back to your rein question, like I said, I think there's a point of diminishing returns, and sometimes this is one's opinion,
your opinion
that you asked me to give. You know, this is not cutting, this is reining, and you're allowed to use the reins. And what I'm interested in is what happens when you use the reins. Does the horse obediently say yes and happily do it? And if he does, great, then I'm going to give you a prize. Yeah. So, you know, if you want to have a loose rein, that's okay too, but I think you can overdo it, and every once in a while I think we see that. It's, you know, when it's too much.
Yeah.
So I'm not knocking Jordan. That was his choice, and he got away with it. But I would not have added to my score for those maneuvers because of that.
I think that's,
see what I mean?
Yep, absolutely.
Could have been a little shorter, and I would have given them the same number.
I love that. And you know what? Actually, this next run, I think will kind of show a little bit different, right? Where there is a little bit more rein and help, and let's see how you guys analyze this. So let's actually bring up exhibitor number 67. We're going to pull up maneuver 4, please. My apologies. Could we actually go to maneuver 5?
No, this was on the this one was on the spin.
That's what I was thinking.
Nope.
These are on the circles.
It was the circles.
Right.
Like right there.
Well, that's where these circles lost their finesse.
Yeah. Casey several times kind of shortened the inside rein. He wasn't rough, but he did it. It was the aggregate of how much and how often he did it.
Here,
starts to
here.
add up.
You know, his horse wanted to leak to the outside, and he had to bring him
Right
in.
there, right here.
Here again. Now he's on the inside.
Casey's a good rider and
yeah.
a good showman, and he's trying to be subtle, but it didn't go unnoticed.
Right.
Yeah.
That's that strategic focus, and the rider took us there. We didn't go looking for it. He took us there.
That makes absolute sense.
This is very good, and trots out.
Yeah.
Actually,
So,
let's go ahead and let's see how you.
Well, you got to watch the hocks. Keep going. He's going to go to the ground. He's stopping. This is all good and very good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the second this rider asks this horse to roll right, you have to watch these hocks. Watch both these hocks as this horse takes off. Because the rollback itself is good. Front feet land right here. But here's 1, 2.
1.
So you
2.
have, into that
the
first
third.
stride. That's a half-point penalty for a trot. That's what it is.
And again, how many trot strides do they have?
You have 2 strides before steps, because you have 1, 2 is 1 stride, 3, 4 is second stride.
Okay.
Trot is a diagonal 2-beat gait, so every stride has step, 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 right?
So.
So 4 steps makes
Like-
2 strides. And the rule is
Right
half
there.
a point up to 2 strides.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Go ahead, play it.
Do you want me to go back?
He's in the low. Well,
Yeah.
I was just going to count it, because there was a 1, 2, which was
That-
actually 1 stride. So he had 1 more stride to go before you get a 2-point penalty.
Before you got the 2-point penalty.
But if you're not watching, strategically focused, you will miss it, because it's 1, 2, right there.
If you're watching
And
the rider's hand or the horse's mouth, you're going to miss that.
You'll miss it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And what's interesting now, and we actually saw this at Reining by the Bay, like with the big tails too, right? Like when you have the big tail, that can, depending upon which chair you're sitting in, could also make it more challenging. All right. Let's go ahead. And I just think that this is just such a great comparison, is maneuver 2 and 3. We're going to bring up maneuver 2 with exhibitor number 70. So this is Sean's spins. Just a great example.
Great example of great.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Just 1, 2, 3, 4. And see, I gave him the 1.5. Excellent.
Mario, where were you at?
He was at 1.
I was at a 1.
Are they the same? The answer is no. In my book, are they both excellent? Yes, they're different excellence. And him and I are going to talk at dinner and lunch about the right spin. That's all.
I like judging with judges like Brian, because when he's half a point higher or lower than me, it's fine. I don't have a problem.
There's like no offense taken.
It's
It
great.
just, yeah.
It's the best.
The show committee's getting their money's worth.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, let's actually, I'd like to go over a few of these questions. If you could bring us full screen, that'd be wonderful. And then we do have some additional giveaways that you are not going to want to miss out. But let's dive into a few questions from our audience, because you guys have been absolutely amazing. The questions are filtering in, and I love it, and they're coming in. So whether you are on YouTube, Facebook, and over on reinerstop.com, you can comment into us, comment questions. If there's something that you love, Chelsea and I are always looking to improve this Showtime experience. Please let us know. And okay, so this question came up, and I know we actually haven't talked about it in a few of the last ones, was from Christian. And they asked, can a small slow be too small or too slow?
Yes.
Can I
So-
answer this?
Yes, please.
Yes. Okay. I cannot dunk a basketball, all right? So if you're watching me play basketball, I don't have to prove I can't dunk the basketball by trying to and making myself look foolish, right? So every horse, and some horses can lope an extreme, I've seen horses that could lope a pretty circle on a hot walker at walk speed. Not many horses can do that. So some horses can lope a very small, very slow circle and look good do it, and some can't. So you've got to know your horse and maybe have someone watch you, and there's a point of diminishing returns where you're making the circle so small and so slow that it doesn't look as good as it would if you went a little faster and maybe made it a little bit bigger. And people fall into the trap. They think, well, I'm going to get credit for the most contrast. well, theoretically, the more contrast, the higher the credit. But there is a point of diminishing returns. So you got to base it on the horse you're riding. And I think people hurt themselves by trying to do things their horses. What I like to tell riders is, show me what you can do. Don't show me what you can't do. I'll leave it at that.
I like that. Brian, do you have anything?
It's a great one. It's an excellent way of answering it. My simple one is a 4-beated lope is a bad lope. A lope is a 3-beated lope. So when it's too slow, the minute you interrupt that 3-beat, because then it's too slow. So, and I agree, because now you have contrast with arena, etc. But the simple answer is, where is too slow? And he's right. All horses have a too slow and it looks bad.
Yeah.
Well, don't go there.
Yeah.
So find it, know it, and then stay away. But we see horses doing 4-beating small, slow circles, and they're bad. They're not. A 4-beated lope is bad.
Yeah.
It's not pleasing to watch.
Yeah.
It doesn't have finesse. It isn't smooth. It doesn't meet the criteria for getting credit.
Correct.
Now, on the flip side of that too, or in addition to the speed, the size of the small. Like, are you wanting, is a small, slow too small? Like, at what point is it too small? That question has come up as well.
Well, again, each horse, I had an Arabian mare, full-blooded Arabian mare, and she could lope a circle in a 12 by 12 box stall. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Not many horses could do it. She ended up being I didn't show her, the owner showed her, but she ended up being a national champion. Not many horses can do that. Mm-hmm. So again, maybe have someone watch you and say, at what point does it not look as good as it did before? And quit when you're ahead. So don't make it too small and don't make it too slow, and make sure it has smoothness and finesse. And you're not all about having the most difference in the size and the most difference in the speed. That's just one factor, but it's not everything.
Yeah.
I would tell you the answer is in the symmetry of the pattern.
Okay.
Because if you show the judges a 20-foot small slow in your first small slow, you better do that when you go to the other side. Mm-hmm. That symmetry needs to be there. Because you're violating a lot of the pattern functions in the sport of reining. So he's 100% correct.
He's smiling. Mario's smiling as you're talking.
In dressage, they tell you how many meters the circle has to be. And if it's more than that or less than that, you lose credit. We have never done that in reining because we wanted to give the rider the latitude to pick the size that suited his animal. And the thing that Brian said is, that's fine, you figure out what you need to do over here, but if you want to win something, you should do the same thing on the other side. That is true. It should be symmetry.
Absolutely.
Everybody likes symmetry.
Which is dictated by your pattern now. Mm-hmm. Because you have all of those patterns, small, slow to too big, fast, small, slow, big, fast, too big, fast, small, slow. So all of that has to work together. It's not just what you do with the small, slow.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. What was really interesting is the night prior was actually the cow horse challenge. And it was very interesting watching the rein work, and we were kind of had an elevated view looking down watching that, and just the size of the circles and how small they got with those Rommel horses. I was like, I don't know if that'd fly in a rein, but I know.
Yeah, but you watch them circle up a cow, you're talking about 6 to 8 feet, 10 feet.
Tiny. So. No, tiny. Absolutely. It's truly using the horse to work a cow. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So I love this. I want to do a couple more giveaways before we head into our next set. Now, let me refer back to my very long list of giveaways for today. And I am actually going to move on, for our Bluebonnet Show Time today. We're so excited. And we have a Yeti that's coming in the post show that has a full travel ready program from Bluebonnet and Stride. Now, this travel ready program, you can find a link. We have it actually in a post, and here is what the winner needs to do for this, is that on Instagram as well as Facebook, we have a post of the picture of the Yeti with the full travel ready program in it. I'm going to just share in one quick second what that travel ready program is, but what we want you to do is on Facebook and or Instagram, or both, you could increase your odds, is to share, like and share that post. Make sure you also follow Bluebonnet Feeds. We absolutely love that. But in this travel ready program, I'm giving away a travel ready program right now. It's hot. This is summer. Our horses need this any time of the year, but specifically right now. It's a 3-step program, and they have a travel pace. This helps your horse drink the ADR pace, pre and probiotics. That is going to help them eat while they're traveling. And then the gastro fix. So the gastro fix is like the stomach lining. So you get that whole program. It's 3 days worth for your horse for traveling. This is a $165 value. So we have one. We will pick a winner who likes and shares one of the posts on either Instagram or Facebook that has the picture of the Yeti with the travel ready program in it. Now, all right, I have another $50 show stopping gift card. And I know that my husband Chris is watching right now and doesn't want me to win another one of these because the pad stack in the garage might be a little large. But who's counting the number of pads that we have? And I mean, there's always new shirts. Speaking of shirts, so this is how great do our gentlemen look tonight. Thank you to CR Ranchwear and these beautiful shirts that they were able to supply our experts tonight. We are so excited for them. But with the white shirts, you could pick any pad from Show Stoppin'. We're gonna do another fun trivia question. First person to answer is going to be our winner. All right, so the question is, the Run for a Million was held at the South Point Casino. How many seats are in the arena at the South Point Casino? Google is your friend right now, I'm telling you. How many seats are in the South Point Casino main arena? You will win a $50 show stopping gift card. And, oh gosh, all right, our next one is a $50 Holla gift card. Oh my gosh. Okay, so if you haven't had Holla denim jeans, you're missing out. I can tell you, Holly, who was manning the booth at High Roller, literally they were going out there was smoke coming from the booth. These jeans are absolutely amazing. They are a performance stretch jean. We posted a reel, Chelsea and I posted a Holla denim reel on Instagram. Hop over to Instagram, like that reel, and share it into your story, share it onto your page, and we will pick a winner there. All right, let's get ready and bring in our next set of 5 horses. All right, but we're gonna start with our leaderboard that is brought to you by 100X Equine. All right, here's our top 6 as we are right now. We have Andrea Fapani, all bets are off. I mean, that horse is just phenomenal. Sean coming in just a half point behind with Trasher Gal. Jordan Larson and I Shine at Night with a 226. Casey Hitton, 224.5 with Magnum's Custom Dream. May the 4th be with you. I mean, I just love that name. Miraco, he is again at a 224.5, and then Craig with Hey Roy at a 221.5. All right, let's go ahead and bring in our next set.
We're now going to see original draw 24. This is 324. Pretty Peppy Check. Jarvis Anderson showing for the Other King Ranch.
I'm just going to say this right now. We had the opportunity to interview Jarvis. This is a 17-year-old stallion, everyone. 17 years old competing.
Good. Plus half.
I'm going to go with very good. This one. Plus half.
Yep.
Had a little kind of pause in the middle there when it broke his cadence. Plus 1.
Plus half. Now it's sitting on the bubble, but there you go. It's good. Very yep. Open. Okay.
You know, he picked him up in the middle there like he was worried he needed to remind him to do another circle. I don't know if he was or not, but wished he hadn't.
He wants to come out of the bridle there a little bit across the middle. So in my book, he's on a correct. And he's now just keeping it. And
I'm just going with 0.
Yep, me too.
It was almost like it was going there, but then...
Well, I don't think this horse naturally carries himself this way. I think this has been sort of instilled into him. And every once in a while, he tries to sort of, what I call, come out of hiding, you know? Mm-hmm. And then when he does that, he gets knocked back down, and it's not very... I don't see the authority, I don't see the willingness, I don't see the attitude that I like to see.
And finesse, and this is very similar in 0.
Zero, yeah.
Correct.
Fundamentally correct.
Fundamentally correct.
I mean, the big was big and the small was small, and so on and so on. He sufficed all that, but I didn't have the credit earning stuff that I liked most.
He got his foot stuck.
Yeah, I saw that.
He does.
I'm going to 0 that.
Yep, me too.
I mean, the stop was, you know, so-so, and then the roll back was... Plus half.
Plus half, yep.
Stop was better than the roll back.
This is a great...
Plus half.
And I was set on 0. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
We got some interesting questions that this run actually just answered.
Mm-hmm.
If you were pay attention as these guys, those that are asking questions, they just answered about 3 or 4 of them, which is really neat.
Scores are in now for Jarvis Anderson and Pretty Peppy Check, a 220. We're going to be welcoming in Draw 28 in a moment. This is back number 69, Downright Amazing. Casey Deary will be showing for DAG Ventures. Downright Amazing is sired by Gunner, and she's out of your league.
I mean, reading on this one.
Okay, nice rundown. Lots of authority. You know that word authority? Think of the authority that this horse came in the arena and said, you know, I'm running here. I'm going somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Judges, get your pencils ready.
Mm-hmm.
Plus one. I'd like to see a little more back to get it up to excellent. But it didn't take away, but it didn't add anything.
Mm-hmm. 2, 3, 4. 1 penalty half. Is what
Plus 1 penalty half. One, 2, 3, 4. Plus 1.
Yep.
I'd like to see just a little snappier to get it up to 1.5. But it's very good. I mean, it was correct, and it was fast, and it was willing, and it was smooth. And
It's interesting when I listen to both of you as you are watching, like when you call the score right away, it's an easy decision.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't have to think about it. I know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
He's not giving you anything to think about.
Right. It's a good small slow.
yeah.
Good example of a small slow.
Yes.
Good example.
Every
Authority.
part
Think of the authority. Look at the authority that this horse is saying,
Yes, sir.
okay, we're going fast now.
Yep.
My boss, my rider, he asked me to go somewhere, so we're going. Look at me. We're going. We got attitude, we got authority, like conviction about he's doing his job, he's happy, willingness.
Yep. I get
I mean,
plus
right,
1.
right
Plus
between
1.
the reins.
Plus 1. If he'd had a little more
Easy.
speed in the fast circles, then I would have moved him up to 1.5.
Yep.
But it's very correct, and got lots of those things in A general that we look for.
Well,
Now, and look at the nice natural carriage of this horse's head. I mean, it's not high, and his nose isn't stuck out.
It's
But
not low,
he's
it's
just
out of
he's
balance.
happy to be there.
Yep.
He's happy to
He
be
says,
working.
Watch his ears. He's listening to that rider.
And
yes, sir,
and
yes,
this
sir,
is
yes,
your
sir,
question
plus
right
1.
there.
Yeah,
This
plus
is your
1.
question. They just answered your question about does it make a difference how they carry their head, high versus low?
Well, I'm not looking for high versus low. I'm looking for natural versus unnatural.
Still looking for balance. And
Still going to +1 that second set of circles.
Yep.
Big stop,
Yep.
+1.
+1. Roll back. Just whoop.
Think of how consistent.
to
Remember, we
start
talked about horses being hot and cold and hot and cold? Think of how this horse has been consistently willing, happy, trying hard, and obedient from the time he came in the gate.
Yep. I put a +1.
+1. You know, when he finally rolled back, I liked it, but he did sit there just a tick longer than I like to see.
So it's a half or a 1. That's your choice.
That was almost a
Quite
bubble.
as
I
strong
could
as
see.
the other one, right? So. Stand up.
+1.
Oh man. And this is a stop and hesitate. And when they do it that well, that's a very good all day, and you can talk about excellent. Because
Look at him, he's just as happy as.
Yep.
Okay. this
Could
is
just
fun.
go do it
Yeah,
again.
let's go do
Like,
it again.
no big
yeah.
deal.
No big deal.
No.
Just plus, and it's funny. It's like you just look and listening to you. It's like +1, +1,
Yes,
+1,
yes,
+1.
yes.
Like we're not talking about
We're
plus
on the
halves.
bubble of
We're-
excellent.
yeah.
We're on the bubble of.
He didn't make us work too hard, see?
No, you were
Yeah,
smiling through it.
He made it easy for us.
Yeah.
We've got scores in for Downright Amazing and Casey Deary showing for DAG Ventures a 228.
Right.
I-
Which there it is. I mean, well, if you +1 8 maneuvers, that's 78 right there.
Yep.
He's marking that's where that run was.
I mean, that's like I was listening to you guys. But, I mean, all the way.
Yep.
And there was a penalty half in there in,
Right.
in that first
Right.
turnaround.
And
So
he's got a little room for oops.
But it shows you that a very good horse can have a penalty.
right.
Yeah.
Don't stop showing, right? If you're an exhibitor and
no.
you get a penalty, don't stop showing too, right? Speaking from a non-pro's perspective, is like
No.
you sometimes think like, oh,
No, Brian and I have a great story about Don't Stop Showing.
Yes, we
It
do.
would take
Maybe
too
that's
long.
a pro-
It would take too long to tell now, but I was the rider and he was the judge.
maybe that's a
And
good.
it showed up in the Rainer magazine, so it's
Yeah.
it is
Oh, we
it's
might
in
have
the
to
history
share this
book.
with
Made the
post
back
show.
cover of the Reiner magazine.
All right, we might have to. We might have to.
Here we go.
Now coming in 430, gonna be big time, Jason Van Landingham showing for Tammy Nelson.
Oh my word. Yes.
+1.5.
Yep.
Big rundown, big stop, great backup.
Yep.
Where do you go?
Whoa.
You only got
That's
one way.
excellent.
You only got one way
Yeah.
to go.
If you can't call that excellent. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 penalty half.
+1 penalty half. One, 2, 3, 4.
Plus half. And I did because
I'm
of
going
the slow
to
down.
give it. I'm going to give it a +half penalty half
Yeah.
because I think that in my
Yep.
view the motion completely stopped, but that's okay.
Which will bring up the conversation about absolute penalties.
Why are you getting
good.
ahead of our show,
I'm not.
Brian?
I'm not.
Like,
It's just-
That's good.
you're getting
It's
ahead
an
of the.
example.
That's in our post show.
I thought that was, and here's another one. See, look at this horse's head. It's not real low, but it's not real high. It's, I don't, you know, maybe it could be a little this or a little that, but it's.
It's not detracting away. Is that what you're saying?
Not really. I mean, it doesn't look scared or intimidated by any means.
And I call those good.
Yeah, plus
Plus
half.
half.
Wasn't a whole lot of degree of difficulty there. Hits the center pretty good.
Time to go. Shifts up. We're going.
I love it.
He's carrying himself better on this side on the big fest than he did.
Most horses, not all, but most horses have a way that they go better than the other.
Just like people, right? Left or right-handed.
Good. Plus half.
Yeah, plus half.
What?
I'd actually like to, he kind of lifted him up and changed him, kind of like Casey did, right? But it was a little bit different. That could be a good comparison.
+1.
Yep. Easy.
Yeah, it's an easy one. +1/2.
And I zeroed it. Because I brought him all the way down because of that.
Because of the rollback?
Yep.
And I get it. Yeah,
He
no,
pulled
it
him
wasn't.
through and he didn't even roll. He kind of just
It
pulled him
wasn't-
through a step around. So I brought the maneuver down.
That's,
Yep.
yeah, I understand. I understand.
Whoa. And then he says, yep, gotcha.
+1/2.
Yep.
Well, thank you. That was gonna be big time. Jason Van Landingham. Gonna be big time sired by Gonna Trash Ya is out of big time Jazzy. The score is coming in now for that ride at 225 1/2. We're going to be welcoming in Original Draw 40 next. This is back number 500. Spook's Got a Tinsel will be shown by Francesco Martinotti for Lance Griffin of Edmond, Oklahoma. Spook's Got a Tinsel is sired by Spook's Got a Gun and out of Tinsel Tiara. Following this horse, we'll see one more before your Dragon reviews.
I just want to tell everybody that is tuning in with us right now, whether you're on Facebook, you're on YouTube, and or over on reinerstop.com, we have had well over 100 questions come in. So when I peeked out on my laptop, that's what I'm sorting through right now. A lot of questions that have, cross-pollinated, a lot that both Mario and Brian have just naturally answered through the competition. So I love that. Make sure you are tuning in and paying attention.
Go ahead.
I'm going to +1/2 him, and I'll tell you why. I thought I was going to +1 it, and the longer he backed, the score got lower for me. The mouth, and he had to kind of keep correcting. The horse tried to go crooked. He didn't let it, but he had to keep re-steering it. +1/2.
Yep.
It's okay. It wasn't a whole lot of speed. He almost dragged him around a little bit at times.
He had a diagonal approach to that stop as
Yeah.
well, so which is not good. That's pattern placement. So
Yeah.
I got to the same way for same
The
list.
first maneuver,
Yep.
the first stop.
3,
4, 1.
I'm gonna +1/2 the spin, and I didn't give him a penalty, but the way to me, the finish of the spin is part of the maneuver score, and I thought the finish was quite rough. Not a penalty, but the way the haunches shot off like that at the end.
Yep.
Because I was gonna want it, and then that just really took away from the end of the spin to me. So I have to.
Another one though, when you just look at him like using his.
Now, do you see how that
Just
happened?
undid it. 0. Yep. Go.
So that was significant. I mean, that was not subtle, and he had to make a big correction there. So he's not correct. You know what I mean? He's not getting in a credit situation here.
So even from that point on, there was not an opportunity to really.
Well, he started to get better in the second fast circle, and then he did that what I call abrupt slowdown. And we're saying it's not a break of gait because there's one exception to the break of gait in reining, and that is that we allow for brief slippage of the rear shoes and where a slowdown is asked for. It's the only time you can do that, but still, to me, it was not smooth. I mean, the slowdown was so abrupt, even though it's not a penalty, it wasn't smooth, and I -1/2 those circles.
And I zeroed him. Yes.
Yeah.
The first set,
First
or
set.
the
First
first set.
set,
Yep. And then it came back +1/2 this side.
Yeah, same for me. But it was.
And he's probably right and I'm wrong. So.
Well, I would agree with that, but
Plus half.
Yep.
Nice stop. Rollback was a little watered down.
Yep.
A little watered down, huh?
Like I tried, but it didn't work.
We got it done. We got it done.
Yeah. It did not add to the maneuver, no.
Wow.
And again,
Same, yeah, kind of a
Now, what's interesting?
mirror image.
This is a 4-year-old, right? I think he was actually the only one, I'd have to confirm, but that's a 4-year-old, under 30,000 in earnings, first time being shown in the Open. Still came and
good for him.
represented.
Plus half.
Plus half.
That's what I did. Nice.
Yeah,
But we're now talking about how good stuff is.
I was waiting for
Our
that.
normal
Yep.
is how good.
It's like, yeah, how good. All the credit earning. All right, share.
Well, I was saying earlier, sometimes, most reinings, you only have 3 decisions to make, and that is, I'm unhappy, I'm indifferent, or I'm happy. So it's kind of easy. Well, with these kind of runs, most everything you see is happy, so now the challenge is, how happy does it make me? But, on a lot of these runs, with this group that we're watching tonight, most of the time it's a plus. And so you remember that show, door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3? And some of those spins that we saw, and we said it made it easy to judge, and we knew it was a 1.5. I mean, door number 3 was the only option.
Yep.
Because if you picked the other 2, you were wrong.
I love it.
Let's see how happy the judges in the chair were with this one. For Spooks Got a Tinsel and Francesco Martinotti at 227 1/2. We're now going to see one more before your review break. This will be original draw 42. 197 Jersey's Baby Driver Trevor Dare will be showing for Janice Laney of Oklahoma City. Jersey's Baby Driver is sired by Yellow Jersey and out of Wind Her Up Chick.
Definitely a crowd favorite. Pretty much his whole Derby career, this one. Jersey's Baby Driver. I know that the stands were filled for this run. Now, I do want to thank you all for joining our Bluebonnet Show Time today. If you are watching on Facebook right now, just because you love the sport of reining, go ahead and make sure you hit that share button. The more people that can join in with us today on this Bluebonnet Show Time, the more that we can help engage those that are maybe interested in reining. Saw it on Yellowstone, saw it on The Last Cowboy, into our sport and understanding the complexities of judging a reining pattern, right? We've seen it today. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's just a little bit more thought.
You want him to be a little bit mouthy and pushy on his way through, but still, and I give him a plus half.
Plus half.
Yeah. Plus that penalty half. And it's 'cause of the way he started.
0 penalty half. He got started rough. I didn't think he ever really got good. He just sort of.
+1.
+1. Big difference between those 2 spins.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
Hits the center.
Whoops, there's a 1-point penalty.
Yeah, falls out of lead.
Yeah.
Right hind leg. Comes together almost there, but it's not a penalty, but it's it lowers the score for me. It's not smooth.
Yeah.
The other ones didn't do that.
Yeah.
And I 0 with a penalty 1 on that set of circles.
I've just got a 0. Oh, I mean,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get the penalty 1 for the out of lead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
excuse me.
And it's interesting. I'd like, we'll talk about this a little bit more in Dragon Review, but even the 5 chairs, how that can change perspectives as well.
That's why you have
Or
5.
viewpoints, right? I
There's
should
no
say.
hiding in reining.
What is that, Brian?
There's no hiding. There's no hiding in reining.
So when you fix your horse on one part of the circle and you
Plus
think they
half.
don't see it,
Plus
I'm
half.
telling you, the
They see
judges
it.
are seeing it.
Why do we have differentials in the sum of the parts? That's why. Why do we have them on all sides of the arena? That's why. Is it supposed to be the same? No. Plus half. And I did because of his mouth.
Yep.
That's why I didn't
Yep.
go more.
Yep, exactly. Plus half because of the mouth. Resistance.
But there's I guess the resistance versus just opening maybe to balance.
This is when he's pulling, I'm at the same spot. I give him the plus half because
Yeah.
it's good, but he's got resistance with how good something is. So I can't go higher, but because there's resistance in there, and it's directly against his pressure.
Yeah. And I don't know that a horse needs to open his mouth to balance in a stop. I think he can balance without doing that. And so it's not the cause.
Right. And again, I give him good.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
good, plus half.
Your scores here for Jersey's Baby Driver and Trevor Dare, a 222.
Judges saw it pretty much all the same. Almost a bingo. Almost.
Almost.
One of your
Almost.
bingos.
Yep.
And there's a very nice horse that did some very nice things.
Yeah.
So we have this salad of things we like and things we don't like. And look at the difference between the 2 spins.
Well, and I was just going to say, we're going to look at that, the difference between the 2 spins and just some penalties, that just popped in there that had those been not there,
Yep.
would definitely change the score. Now, keep the questions coming in. We are definitely going through those. What I love is if your question came in and I haven't asked it, it's because the gentlemen here next to me have actually answered it when they've just naturally been discussing the run. So if I haven't, be sure to comment again or be like, hey, we need this one answered. I'm going to try to get to all of them. But like I said, we've had well over 100. And ouch, as I keep scrolling down, there's even more. So it's pretty exciting. We love the interaction here. Let me get to a few of our winners that we had during our last drag break. And actually, it looks like we're still pulling in 2 of the winners, but I am going to announce one is that $50 show stoppin' gift card goes to Jackie Penzold. Now, Jackie and all of our other winners, if you were named as a winner, we're going to cross-reference. We did get some people that tried to claim prizes last time. Chelsea and I will not let that happen. But please send an email over to support@reinerstop.com with your name and the prize that you won, as well as your contact information for shipping. We will make sure to get that prize to you. You can also send us a DM on Instagram or Facebook, and we will make sure to reach out and get that prize to you. Now, what I would like to do is, as we go into this review, there's actually a good amount in this set to be able to talk about. The first one I'd actually like to bring in, we're going to bring in exhibitor number 69 and maneuver 2. So this is Casey. So I want to pause on this one for a second when he completes it.
3, 4. Good. Whoop. Yep. You can see it clears the bell because he's that way. And he's supposed to be that way. So it's an easy half point. because he's out of a line.
Now, is this, when you say easy, because this horse is actually perpendicular to all of you, or parallel, he's not head on, right? So is there times where maybe this is a little bit
where
more
he started.
The left front
That's where
foot
he is.
past the right hind. See that? See the line that Brian created? His left front foot is on the other side of the line to the right hind foot. And it is easier when they finish, facing you. It is easier. So what you do is you create what you believe is the line in your mind, and then you apply that standard to every horse in the class. Like you don't keep changing it like as the class goes on. So once you've made your line in the sand, so to speak, you use that standard for every horse.
Okay.
And you don't keep tightening up and loosening up. Does that make sense to you, Brian? And that's all you can do is be consistent to yourself and treat every exhibitor the same.
Yeah, yeah. What's interesting, and I don't think that the judges get enough credit for, is how fast they're making it. I got to pause this so that we could talk about it. But if I were to play this back, let's just rewind back, and then we'll start it over again.
You got multiple things to do here. You have to say the maneuver. This penalty does not adversely affect the maneuver. So you got to be accurate on your maneuver assessment first, and then be able to identify, did this penalty occur or not? Go ahead.
So this is how fast.
2, 3, +1, penalty half. You got to be there. And he's standing back up.
Now he's standing back up. Yeah, I paused it when he was standing back up.
We have reviews now and all that. And if I know I'm going to review something, that's fine. I say, okay, well, I'll think about it during the review. But one of the best things somebody told me, and I heard this many years ago, was you think long, you think wrong. And I have judged lots of shows where I'm judging 20 hours a day, day after day. I need something that works at 8 o'clock in the morning and at 8 o'clock at night, and it works for me. And I can't pile on more than I need to do. So what I have found effective is decide and move on. Decide and move on. If I'm thinking about the last maneuver during the next maneuver, I'm going to get that wrong, and I'm going to get this one wrong too. Decide and move on.
408 decisions per judge in these 51 runs. That's what was going on, and he's 100% correct. Decide and move on, because he's got, wherever we are, he could have 200 more decisions to go. And the biggest statement he just said, if he thinks about too long, he's going to get this one wrong, and he's going to get the next one wrong.
So 4 horses from now, I'm like, geez, did Casey overspin? You might I can't be having it. It's like,
you have to
I'm done.
train yourself to
That's
just let it go,
history.
make the decision, and
that's
you stopped.
ancient history.
Wow.
Move on.
Paint it red and call it yours.
I love it, and that's that is you actually brought up another topic, and maybe we'll talk about this in post show or not, but judging 12 hours, right? We have this expectation for our judges that they're supposed to do excellent work at draw 1 at 8 in the morning after some sleep, depending upon the previous day of judging, and then go into 10, 12, 14 hours and be expert the whole time. Very, very challenging, and I think there's some improvement opportunities there for our industry that maybe we'll get into that discussion. I know that we have before. All right, let's go ahead, and we are going to bring up exhibitor number 430. We are going to bring up maneuver 2, please.
Yep.
Yep.
March. Yep. One, 2, 3, 4, and again.
Yep.
And you have a very similar, because this is where he is now. Not as, but it still is, because there's his alignment.
So you can see it right there. I just thought it was like another great example. And I mean, these gentlemen that are showing that we just reviewed, I mean, the score, it's not like these are,
No.
Like,
well, that's a +1 spin, and it's got a half-point penalty. Did the penalty adversely affect the maneuver? No, it did not. But did the penalty occur? Yes, it did. And it's a half point, not a 1. It's a half, and it's an overspin, not an underspin. That's what it is. Yes?
Yeah. He's trying hard. He's trying hard. And he's going to get some credit, and the one that does it like that and doesn't have a penalty is going to get more credit.
Yep.
As it should be. And Jason would agree with me, I'm sure.
Absolutely. All right. Let's go ahead. We're going to stay with this same exhibitor, 430, and I just want to go to maneuver 5. Yep. So the reason I'm bringing this one up is because in our last set, we talked about someone that was actually using the rein a little bit more, right? And so Jason coming through center on his next change uses a little bit more, and I thought it was a good demonstration of willingness to guide, I guess. We'll see.
See, I'm digging this. You know, smooth, willing. It's not much degree of difficulty, maybe. And again, it's hard on video to tell that stuff. A little
But
bit.
there, you're
That's
just
what I was
saying he
talking
kind
about.
of softly holds him through 3 strides of the change.
Yeah.
That's
It's
right?
it's
But
the
that's what he
pick up.
does.
We
Up,
got this
hold,
question
hold,
and turn.
let go.
Yep.
Okay.
That didn't offend me.
That was my point, was did that offend you? Where the other one, maybe it was the horse just kind of said, I'm not really totally with you. And that would maybe, I guess, offend you in your own terms. Like when they aren't steering when asked to be steered.
I don't mind when a rider moves his hand a certain amount and uses the reins a certain amount. I think it's well within what we expect to see in reining. And what I'm really concerned about is what's the horse's reaction to it. Does he say yes or hell no? And he's going, okay, boss.
He's just like, okay,
He's going okay, right.
no big deal.
This was safe, but it still was smooth and soft and finessed and authority and controlled and dictated to completely.
You know, Brian and I were talking about this yesterday, and what I remind everybody is the name of our sport is reining. Okay, we don't go to watch the not raining. Where'd you go on the weekend? I went to watch the not raining.
Boy,
I
was
went
it
to watch
cool.
the raining. Oh, and what happened when the guy rained? Oh, the horse did exactly what he wanted it to do. And what happened? Oh, he won.
I love it.
That's reining.
Right.
So anyway, that's just my take on it.
I know we get so like, oh, we can't touch the face, or oh, we can't do this, but it's a reining. Yeah,
Exactly.
I love it. All right, let's go ahead and we're going to move on to exhibitor number 500, maneuver 4, please. So this is
1, 2, 3, 4.
into the
Left circles.
large fast, correct?
Right. Well, he turns, and that's a safe and easy lope departure.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Safetied
Fine.
up
This
on
is-
the cannon
this is good.
departure.
Flirting with a 4-beat, but not
Big,
Yeah.
big there,
So-
right there.
temporary out of control.
Yeah.
That is lack of control. Any deviation on his own must be considered a lack of control. This horse veers right.
So
Or-
Jason's horse was supposed to change leads. So he picked his hand up and he asked it
This
to
one
go the
thought,
other way.
right
This
there.
one's not supposed to do that. So that wasn't like asking the horse to do something that the pattern calls for. That was a big correction to fix basically what I'll call a disobedience on the part of the horse.
Okay.
And it wasn't subtle. To me, that really stood out. So he now has lost credit for me. So he's sitting, I would say, at -half at this point in this maneuver.
Now, what is interesting, and part of the reason why I wanted to bring this up, and this is actually a really fun one, because Chelsea and I were in, and we were actually sitting at the rail watching this horse, but we were on the backside. So chairs 4 and 5, right? That, it was, I didn't see it.
Right.
Not that I'm a judge. I am not a judge. I'm not trained like you guys. But coming here, it was like, oh, saw it. Like, it was pretty plain to see. From behind, it wasn't.
Right.
You know? And I know we've talked about this before, which chair is your favorite and all of that. I mean, how does that come into seeing something like that when you're judging? I guess it doesn't. It depends.
That's why we use 5 individuals to make the sum. There's no hiding and reining.
I will say
okay.
this. I've judged thousands and thousands of runs by myself. Okay? And I don't make stuff up, and I don't use my imagination. I record what I see, and I can't judge what I can't see. So I treat everybody the same. If I'm not sure, I give them benefit of the doubt. And you can show me all the videos later from the other side of the arena, but when I'm judging by myself, I can only... And remember I said I need something that works for me for 20 hours at a time, day after day? And I don't want to pile on stuff. Well, when I start using my imagination, it just makes my job harder.
I mean, but that's good. That's great training. That's what we want from our judges.
But
right?
that's the right wall, left wall are different views. It's a fact.
Absolutely.
And will those scores be slightly different? Yes. Why? Because they're different views, and the front and the back are different. There's no doubt about any of that. Are they supposed to be the same? No, except for the bingo run that doesn't matter which way you're looking at it. It is what it is.
Yep.
So,
well, right off the bat, if it wasn't different, they just put them all in the 5 feet apart.
Like, why do we have 5 judges if we want them
and
all
why
to
do
be
we
the same?
Yeah, that's why they put them in different places.
Yeah. So, and it's interesting because at NARS, right, our view was actually from behind, which was a really fun experience. So if you haven't watched our NARS coverage with Showtime, that camera view was from
the right wall.
The right wall, which provided just such a fun, different experience than what we typically see when we have the front view, the left wall. All right. Now, let's get into some more prizes. And then we actually might have a word from one of our sponsors. But as we get into these prizes here, I want to say I see that Kaylee Howerton, you have won the $50 Holla gift card for liking and sharing on that reel. Make sure that you're following along with Holla. And you guys, we have an actual full pair of Holla denim to give away in the post show, so you're going to want to stay tuned for that. Now, the Stride Travel Ready program. So that is the 3-step program that I already shared before that is $165 value. We are going to have 2 of those to give away. I am going to do one right now for a trivia question. This is a good trivia question. We have a few of them. The first one is, because this is tricky, how much money did the winner take home from the Run for a Million class? How much money was the first place prize winner champion, how much money did they take home from the Run for a Million class? You will win. Comment anywhere on YouTube, Facebook, as well as the website, and you will win the Travel Ready program for $165. Now, with Showstoppin', I have another gift card. So another $50 gift card to Showstoppin'. Chris, I'm winning one of these myself. We're getting another pad. Now, at the Run for a Million. So these are for my folks that were at the Run for a Million, actually there at the South Point in Las Vegas, and or if you were following along with all of your friends on social media. There were 2 actors that came for autographs from Yellowstone. I would like you to share anywhere, first person to share, who those 2 actors were. Their names on the show. You will win a $50 Showstoppin' gift card. And then, oh my gosh, I have another $50 giveaway for Holla. What I would love for you to do with the Holla is I want you to tell me, let's do this. I have a good one. If you are a current Holla denim purchaser, customer, let us know in one of the comments if your jeans don't stretch out by the end of the day. That's one thing that we typically hear, and especially as women, may not affect you guys, but is that by the end of our day when we're on and off horses, cleaning stalls, doing all the stuff, is that our jeans are just stretched out and not falling off. doesn't happen with Holla. The first person that is a current Holla customer, let us know what, like, that your jeans don't fall off. Just say don't fall off. Comment, because we love that. That is a performance stretch jean. All right. Now, as we are going to keep going here, I want to actually bring up a word from our sponsor. So Bluebonnet Feeds is sponsoring and brought to you by this Reiner Stop Show Time. We were so excited to be able to partner with them today. They have amazing products. It is advanced nutrition without compromises. And it has just been very neat to partner with them. Shared values, just like all of our current partners that we work with right now. So let's receive a word from our sponsor.
Commercial coming one more time.
All right, well, welcome back. And here is our 100X leaderboard. Again, we still have Casey Derry holding the lead with now a two-way tie for second between Andrea as well as Francesco. Then Sean Flaherty, Jordan Larson, and Jason Van Landingham. And let's just take a look, let's just take a moment to appreciate the scores here. I mean, this is phenomenal reining.
Oh, yes. I can't even put it in words because this is stuff we used to talk about and dream about when we did all the work with the sport and the association and the growth, blah, blah, blah. It's phenomenal. Again, I'll go back to 30 horses. 6 horses are trying to get qualified for next year's Run for the Million.
Yep.
It's paying out $150,000 across 15 spots, but 30 horses. If I'm 30th in this thing and marking 220 or 221, and I'm going home empty-handed, that's as good as it gets.
You know, what stands out to me is the depth of the quality of the horses. And the year that Sean Flaherty won the reining futurity on Wimpy's Little Step, I had judged the reining at the AQHA World Show in that building the week before. And I'd watched a lot of reining runs. So, of course, I had some futurity horses. So I judged the AQHA World Show, judged all the reining, stayed for the futurity. I unfortunately didn't make the finals, but I watched the finals, and my wife flew out, and we watched it together. And in Sean's run in the finals, I stood up and I was cheering. And my wife said, I've never seen you stand up and cheer for a run before. And I said, well, you don't see a run like that very often. And now we're watching run after run after run that are excellent runs. It's not like, you know, this one stands out so much, it brings out that much emotion in me. I mean, they bring out a lot of emotion in me, but they're back to back to back. Big difference. That's what's really dramatic to me.
It's really fun listening to both of you, right? Like, just smile and like be like, oh, +1, +1. Like, where that was harder before.
This isn't who wins, it's how well. He said, how happy am I? How do you get to define that one? We are splitting such fine distinction. We're talking about very good and excellent. Run after run after run.
Yeah. No. And it's like you're sitting there and you're like, okay, well now what greatness can come, you know? It's very, very exciting. And, you know, just kudos to this amazing event that was put on, you know, the idea spurred from Taylor Sheridan and then brought to life through Amanda Brumley with Brumley Management Group, South Point Casino. What a beautiful facility. Just hosted it like to the nines. So really exciting there. Let's announce a couple more of our winners. Now, I do have with that Stride Travel Ready program. That's what I showed you before. This is a 3-day supply, $165 value. That winner is going to be Lindy Costello. Lindy Costello, congratulations. Make sure that you send us an email over at support@reinerstop.com and or send us a DM either on Instagram or Facebook. You won the Stride Travel Ready program. Then we had the $50 show stoppin' gift cards. the names of the actors that came, the Yellowstone actors that came for the Run for a Million. The line was long, let me tell you. The line was long for their autographs. And what was so neat is they were so welcoming and wanted to pose for pictures and had a cocktail and were just having a good time, you know, with us Reiners. So it was really fun. That is Casey, I believe Casey Coe. You are the winner of that. Congratulations. And Holla, the first person to say, don't fall off, right? Holla jeans, don't fall off. That is Casey Hardy. Congratulations. You won a $50 gift certificate over to Holla Denim. All right. It's time. Let's see our next set of horses, our last set, last 5. Here we go.
We're going to be welcoming original draw 45. Back number 450, extra step doctor Josiane Gauthier will be riding for Nancy Alford. On deck, we'll see draw 46, Casey Deary to show.
This is a 4-year-old as well, so that's a couple
good.
of them.
Good. Good to very good.
Yeah,
Take
I
a
think
pick.
I +1 this. And we're going to talk about this run. Let me score a couple more maneuvers.
1, 2, 3, 4. I 0.
Yeah, he migrated too much for me.
Okay. I appreciate you sharing the why.
It violates.
It's not
the
correct.
correctness.
It's not correct. It's not smooth.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep.
I'm going to +1 that.
Yep. I would too.
0
That
to
one was
plus
easy.
1. Yeah.
Yeah, well. Sometimes the magic works, sometimes it doesn't.
At least you get another shot, right? Like.
That's why there's 8 maneuvers.
Time to go. She's doing good.
It's good.
Uh-huh.
Smooth. It's the middle.
Wants to lean inside just
Little
a
bit.
touch,
Little bit.
but he's not leaving her. Just losing a little bit of balance. Yep. +half.
+half. That I didn't like the lead change a lot. I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't real smooth either. And if I was on the bubble, you know, we talk about the bubble and all. If I was on the bubble, that lead change would bring me to the lower number.
Would have brought you down. Yep.
Yeah. It wasn't horrible. I mean, I get that.
I'll steer a little bit.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit of deviation there.
But still, I'd give her a good +half.
Yeah. There was some good stuff, and then there was that thing coming through the middle, and he shifted around a little.
+half. I do. And
It's just. Yep. Keep going.
you can't always
0.
put it all in words.
0.
Right.
+half.
And see, I zeroed this one. Which we're just
This is, I
we're
mean,
sitting on the bubble of these
You
things.
guys are literally like
because
literally.
we're with this horse. So
This of all the runs we watched in the last 2 days, there was more examples of, you know, the Jody's tweener thing.
and I minus that a half.
0.
Go. Yeah.
The tweener stuff that was like +1/4 or, you know, like, and I know there is no +1/4, but I think when there's a lot of money handing out, this is why you need multiple judges, because we don't have enough degrees of separation within one person. When I judge a weekend show, I can sort them out.
Yeah.
But with this many good horses and this much money handed out, you want to get it right, not only first place, you want to get all the places right.
Absolutely.
And we don't have enough degrees of separation on one clipboard. So we need, because this is a good rider, a good horse, but I don't know if you saw what I saw. It was a lot of tweeners there. A lot of tweeners. And you could go this way. Remember the door number 1, door number 2?
Mm-hmm.
You could go either way, and nobody could really say you were wrong. But that's fine, because with multiple judges, she ends up where she belongs.
Yep, yep. Well, and let's talk about this one at the review and bring in our next horse. Great point.
Scores are in for Josie Ann's ride, an extra step doctor from the chairs, a 222 1/2. Your next to show will be draw 46. This is back number 66. Starfire 66 will be shown by Casey Deary for Kevin Cochran.
I'm plus it 1.
I'm going to plus half because of the backup.
1, 2, 3, 4. Half, penalty half.
Plus half, penalty half. 2,
3, 4.
Plus half,
Plus
penalty
half.
half.
You got a penalty, Joe? Or
I thought he had a penalty half because of the haunches swung around. Not like the front end stopped, but the hind end didn't. So you can get to a penalty either way, with the front legs or the back.
And I didn't. I plussed him half with no penalty. So
I do want to point out, right, this is the only mare that we're watching tonight.
Really?
I know there were more in the competition, but out of our group tonight, this is the only mare.
that's interesting.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Now, unlike the other horse that Casey rode, that was so willing, had so much authority, and such a good attitude, hers is okay, but it's not.
1 point penalty, and I would have zeroed the circles. And he's, go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, 0 the circles, and you had the 1 point early lead change.
He changed in front without,
Yeah,
early.
I gave him the benefit of the doubt, so I'm going to 0 the circles and not call a penalty.
Right on the money.
I'm going to 0 the circles. I did not like that lead change at all. I did not call it a break a gate, but I did not like it.
You got to skip in his stride and correct. There's no penalty, and I zeroed the circles too.
Just zeroed him, yeah.
He's got to skip when he changes leads.
Wow.
Yeah. Half.
I'm going to 0. The rollback was so wide I couldn't get to half. The stop was credit earning, but he lost so much credit on the rollback for me.
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of pressure.
I'm going to +1 that maneuver.
Yep, me too. I did.
Very, very different than the opposite side.
I agree.
This is
Plus half.
I +1.
yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. That was Casey Deary and Starfire 66. The score is coming in for that ride, a 223. We're going to be welcoming your next to show. This is original draw 48. 455 Guns and Dynamite. Matt Mills will ride for Mary Beth Ruckman of Scottsdale, Arizona. Guns and Dynamite sired by Gunner Special Knight out of Chicolina Starbuck.
It's, interesting because it could be any aged horse for this event.
Right.
So these guys are riding their best ones that they have to try and get one of those 6 spots so that they can compete in the run for $1 million.
Whoa. Come on, little buddy. Yep, +1.
+1. Good stop. Good back.
Mm-hmm.
One, two, three, four. +1.
Yep.
If he'd have finished,
Great save.
if he'd have finished the way the middle part was, it would have been different. But 1, 2, 3, 4. +half. Kind of dragged him around that way. A lot of difference between the first turn and the second turn, and how much Matt had to kind of drag him around.
Mm-hmm.
I know Jody said recently there's a difference between making a horse turn and letting a horse turn.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now it's time to go.
How much of a speed variation are you looking for? I know that, you know, this question has come up. Is it, like, what is credit earning?
This.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know how else to answer
Thanks,
that.
Brian.
We're not, it's not how fast or how slow. That was that other question. And I +half.
yeah, +half.
The abruptness is
that
what
lead
took it
change
away.
from. But you know, again, in absolute black and white terms, the more difference, the higher the score. But there's other factors, and some horses can do an extremely fast circle and look good, and some skip around, slip around, even slip out of lead beyond a certain speed. See that right there? That took away. Mm-hmm. So it's not. It's one of those questions that's hard to answer. It's not just the speed.
Right.
'Cause you have to
+half.
+half. And again, you know, you got to dance with the girl you came with, right? So you got to know. It's good to have ground people watch you ride at home and say, when does he quit looking better at beyond a certain speed and below a certain speed? Ooh.
And I +half, no penalty.
+half,
Because
no
the whole
penalty.
thing was rough. Yeah, I was on my way to a 1, and the whole roll back and
Well, and
depart, it was bad.
He
What?
he got out of it, but it was not smooth.
And again,
+half.
yep, that's all I can do.
You know, I don't know what's going on, but maybe the horse is tired. I don't know, but he sure didn't snap out of there. You know, Bill Horn used to have an expression called "full bust away." He said, "You want to have full bust away," and he didn't have full bust away. +half.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you know, years and years ago, a lot of them did that. You know, they'd run down, they'd stop, and they'd get going the other way after a fashion, and then eventually they loped, and you know what I mean? And that was sort of common, but now it's not common, and it's not credit earning.
Yep. All right, let's see the scores on this one.
The scores for Guns and Dynamite and Matt Mills riding for Mary Beth Ruckman at 225.
You got to remember, we're talking about how good stuff is.
Yeah.
So, you know, and we're only in 14 or 15 horses.
Yep.
There's
We're going to be watching Original Draw 49 here next. On the Bluebonnet Show Time, we'll see 249. Star Jack Vintage Andrea Fapani will be riding here for Teton Ridge of Weatherford, Texas. Star Jack Vintage is sired by a Sparkling Vintage and out of Star Jack Miss. Following this horse, we'll see one more to complete your Bluebonnet Show Time.
Matt's had some very interesting stuff. I think that'll be a great one for the review.
Yeah, there was.
There's a few
Lots of different
questions
things.
that I want to bring up during that run.
Okay, nice run down. Real nice stop. I'm going to +1 it.
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Half. I just couldn't do
You
it.
still
Plus
gave.
half,
You
yeah.
still gave him that. Okay. Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Lost it again.
Plus half.
Yep.
Well, yeah, there was that. Oh, you know, I know it wasn't a pause.
Interrupting the cadence.
It was an
Yeah,
interruption
yep.
in the middle there. Yeah, for sure.
This is good.
Hits the center. Time
This
to
is
go.
Time to go.
Now
He's
we've got some
going.
degree of difficulty here. And it's always harder on video. It's kind of two-dimensional. But comparing him with the other runs, this looks like
This is
he's
very good.
asking, he's challenging the horse. He's not. He wants one of those 6 slots.
Yep.
You know, +1.
Yep. Easy +1.
And this horse
It's an easy
is right
+1.
there.
Oh. You want to talk about willing
Nice
and
slow
dictated
down.
to completely, and yes.
Well, some
is
of them were
very good.
dictated to completely, but they didn't go very fast.
Right.
He's dictated to completely, and he's going fast.
Yeah.
You know, so he needs more credit, right?
Yep. Whew.
I mean,
He's hauling the
very
mail
good
here.
thinking excellent right
Yeah,
now.
he's
and
hauling
you
the
feel
mail
bad.
here,
You
I mean.
betcha. He's going somewhere
Yeah.
and getting it done and change on.
I'm gonna
center.
1.5
And I'd
first.
1.5.
wow.
Yep.
It's excellent.
Yep.
You know, you were talking about how much. So we had a lot of difference in size and a lot of difference in speed on a horse that can go slow and look good and go fast and look good. He can dunk the basketball. +1.
And +1/2.
What kept you from a 1?
Lack of all of the pieces that I needed. His outside hind foot was unstable and in there, and the rollback was a little bit rough coming back when we saw him. So I couldn't go all the way up. That's true and good. And this, yes, sir, that's a piece of cake now. That's me. +1.
So here's an example. We had a half-point spread, and yes, guess what? The second rollback was better than the first one. So it's working. It's working the way it's supposed to.
Good.
+1/2.
Yes. Yes. And that's where mathematically it would say the same thing, but
Yep.
we didn't get there the same way. And that's where people get confused when you go and look at score
Individual.
details.
I +1 both rollbacks,
Right.
but the second one was better than
Better
the
than
first
the
one.
first.
But see, I don't have 92 degrees of separation. That's why we need more than one judge.
Yep. There we go again. All right, let's see how Starjack Vintage did.
We've got the scores for Andrea Fapani and Starjack Vintage on this run at 225 1/2. We're going to be welcoming draw 50 here to show. This will be back number 93. Smart Tinseltown Craig Schmersel will be riding this one for Clay Clausen of Scottsdale, Arizona.
That's why.
This is actually more of a non-pro horse. I've seen this horse compete many times in the non-pro, winning many bronzes.
A little stiff in the front and the head comes up, so that's losing credit for me.
Poor. Yep.
All right.
This is poor to me.
-1/2.
Yep.
Okay.
Backup did not, wasn't like he had the best backup I ever saw to somehow pull it out of the fire.
1, 2, 3, 4. +1/2. Good.
plus half. One, two, three, four. Plus one.
All right, plus and a half.
Yeah. You know, he to my mind, he started and he sort of accelerated throughout the 4 turns. Like each turn was faster than the one before. And it took him a little while to get there, but it was kind of smooth the way he did it. And by the last turn, he was going pretty fast. So that made it a 1 for me.
You got it. Correct.
Yeah.
And it's always so interesting to see the different riding styles, right? Where Andrea is a little bit more behind, or, you know, sitting up on the horse versus Craig, you see up kind of over on top, chasing a little bit.
This horse is not a smooth mover. He's stilty and kind of.
Yeah.
It's. So, anyways, I'm struggling here because I'm on correct there, and that's what I would do. 0, correct.
I'm going to plus half it.
Yeah.
You're gonna give it a plus half, Mario?
I'm going. Yeah. You know, I thought there was enough to pay there, and I wanted to pay him something.
Yep. And I give that one a plus half.
Plus half.
Now, does his rein, his hand coming all the way across with those long reins, detract? Does it do any, like, it just is what it is?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
I have a.
Plus. I have no problem with that one. Plus 1.
Yeah, I agree. To your question, Shelley, for me, a lot of things, including that, there's like a kind of a strike zone. And if you're in the strike zone, I sort of treat it all the same. Plus 1.
Plus 1.
Big stop, nice turn.
This horse can roll.
But, so I'm not really looking for that, but when I can't help but notice it, then it's probably going to pull your score down. See, I'm looking for other things, and all of a sudden I'm noticing this, and I'm not even looking for it, it's probably going to pull your score down.
Yep. Well, it's going to take your strategic focus,
Plus
right?
half.
Plus, and I would have plus 1. Yep.
Let's see what the judges in the chair said about Smart Tinseltown and Craig Schmersel. A 226 and 1/2.
4.
All right. Well, an amazing set of 15 horses. We are right. We are about to get into our Rancho L14 and 10:30 Dragon review break. But before we do, I want to let you guys know about this one giveaway that I am going to be awarding during our post show, and it is brought to you by Bluebonnet Feeds and Stride. This is a Yeti with the Travel Ready program that is brought to you by Stride. Now, overall, this whole package, this whole prize is worth $415 at least. It might be a little bit more depending on where you buy your Yeti, but $415. What you are going to need to do to be entered to win that is go back to that photo that is on Instagram as well as Facebook. Make sure that you share and tag someone. Now I need you to tag someone in there. Our team is behind the scenes. We are going to be watching and pick who wins that wonderful prize brought to you by Bluebonnet as well as Stride. So there's also going to be some links that you see if you participated today. You're most likely received an email. There's going to be some links in there you're going to want to click on as well. And if you are not part of our email community, we encourage you to join. It grew by about, I think 25-30% over the last week or so. So we want to welcome everyone new in. We have a monthly bulletin you are not going to want to miss out on, as well as some great other information in our emails. We don't spam you. Chelsea and I don't believe in that. That being said, let's go ahead and dive into, this is our last drag and review break brought to you by Rancho L14 as well as 10:30, and I do want to remind everybody that 10:30 is Stallion. He is our fraternity champion from last year, Draw 1, and he is standing and available at Oswood. So we encourage you to look into him when you're making your Stallion choices. Let's go ahead, and I want to bring up Exhibitor 450. We are going to bring up Maneuver 7. So this is Josie Ann. And I wanted to bring up her last 2 stops so that we could, because I wrote down tweener. You guys were on a tweener there. And if you could share what would have taken it above, what were you looking for?
Well, you see his left hind doesn't stay in and stay true, which violates. So that's where you got a little bit of bad and wants to be good. That's.
You know, the rundown was okay. The stop was okay. He quarters off in this one, so that detracts.
Yep.
You know, she's a very nice rider. This looks like a very nice horse. I kind of get back to the basketball thing. Like she's doing a very nice layup, and the ball's going through the hoop, so she's sufficing the pattern, but she's
maybe it's not a nothing but net. It maybe goes off the rim a little bit, and you're looking for
well, like I
nothing
said,
but
she
net.
quartered off there. And the rundown. We talked about authority. I don't see the authority. I don't see this horse just like running out from underneath her. You know, he runs down the arena and it's fairly straight, but she has to urge him quite a bit, and he's not going that fast.
Yeah.
Compare that with some of those others that just, you know, the guy sits back and he just runs out from underneath him, and it's building speed all the way into the last stride before the stop.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing that here.
I just, you know, I wanted to bring that one up so our audience, because we have a very diverse audience from highly competitive exhibitors and brand new people, right? Or green as grassers, rookie riders that are learning how to navigate a reining pattern, right? And we all want to earn credit. You guys as judges want to give credit, right? So I think there can be some discrepancies or misunderstandings on how to earn credit. So I love that one, just being a tweener is like, well, what are we looking for to take it up?
And maybe, I don't know, she's a good rider. Maybe that's what the horse can do. Like maybe if she would have overrode the horse and tried to overshow the horse, it might have gotten worse. I don't know. But I can only record what I saw. I don't know the why. All I know is what I saw, and it's like, yeah, I like it. And I kind of want to like it, but I can't. There's not a lot to hang my hat on there. You know?
But some to build on, potentially. Go ahead.
Well, we have a lot of tweeners. It's one of the weaknesses in the system, so we ought to address the tweeners. Then we could sort this out even better. That's
And
my
maybe
answer.
not have all the ties that we did
Well,
down
right.
the way,
we're now-
right?
Right. Mario said when Wimpy's Little Step won the fraternity, he kind of like stood up and he said, I'm it, and everybody got it, but he was the only one. We got 30 of them. We got 50 of them. We just marked 15 horses that are all within a point and a half. These are all 74 to 76 runs, and we're splitting very fine hairs on how good. We're talking about very good and excellent. A few weeks ago, not too long ago, the whole industry was screaming that they don't use the scale. Well, maybe they weren't showing them the scale. They are now.
I've judged a lot of shows by myself,
Love it.
and I've had, like, I look down at the tracking sheet, and there's just a whole bunch of ties, and they're all kind of mushed in there in the churn, you know. And I'm thinking, oh gosh, you know, and I'm a little tired, and it's getting late. And then somebody comes in, and they're like, I'm not here to be second. I want to win. And then they deliver the goods, and I'm like, Thank you. Thank you. I could relax a little bit now. You
I
know?
love it.
I didn't have to figure it out. They showed me.
Well, and it's our job as exhibitors to come in and do that, right?
If you can.
If we can, based
If you
upon the
can.
horse, show the horse that you have. I love that. Okay, so we still have more to see. We are going to bring in back number 66, and I want to, we're going to do two things on this horse. We're going to start with maneuver 3. So again, back number 66, maneuver 3. So this is Casey on Starfire 66. Just did the first turn. This is the second turn. was our penalty.
Right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. And this is where he did and I didn't. So you can have that conversation on, this is the left spin, because that's exactly where it is. And so anyways, we can be as technical as we want to, but there's the center line. So, but you got to play in real time because you stood it still. So the minute, because you got motion, and there's that second, there's that split, and so I was waiting for it all, and I dealt with it in the maneuver, and so so there you go. Go ahead.
Yeah, and we're doing this, and it's good, and it's education for me. It's education for all of us, right?
Yeah.
But you don't have. When you're judging, you judge what you see to the best of your ability. You treat everybody the same, and we can, pause it and slow it down and make lines, and you know what I mean. And in real life, that's not how it goes.
Yeah.
But
play it once real.
But we're still the way we're doing it. We're still getting the good ones at the top, and the not so good ones below them, and then.
Oh yeah.
Is good.
You got to make that decision fast, and
we're already
moved
You got to
on.
make it, and you got to be consistent with it, and you got to do it. Yes.
Next maneuver, let's go. We're actually going to stay with this maneuver for the change.
Oh, this is on the lead change. Yeah. Here. Yep. If you watch his front legs, you'll see it. Right there. Play. There's your left. There's your left. Keep coming. There's your left. There's your right. Right front foot is now going this way because he just changed. And he's early because your middle is still in front of him. So it's a change of lead that's early. It's actually being out of lead. There comes his back foot, but you see what I mean? So he was back here, and the middle's now here. It's being out of lead. That's the rule. But it's right there. And again, your strategic focus. What?
Yeah, and so this has come up a couple of times on these overspins where they're sideways to you and stuff. So I gave him the benefit of the doubt. And what I need to do is, if there's 100 horses in the class, whatever, let's say, and something like this happens on the third horse, is I have to treat every horse the way I treated this one. So if I gave the penalty, I give them all the penalty, and if I didn't, I don't give it. If they're that exactly on that grain of sand, you know what I mean? If they're way back there, yeah, I'm going to give it. But I'm saying if they're exactly where Casey was, and I don't give it to him, then for the rest of that class, I don't give it. I have said that's my strike zone, and he was in it, and I'm not going to change my strike zone
For the rest of the class, like no.
5 horses later, right? I'm going to stay consistent.
Yep.
And that's the best you can do.
Yep.
That's what you do. Treat everybody the same.
Well, and just I'm even thinking just the different perspectives on the chair. Like
Yes.
chair 5, that would have been
You could've
really hard to
missed it.
see. Yeah.
Correct.
Right?
Because from his view, horse changes behind 2 strides later, looks like normal.
It's right in
He
center.
could have possibly not even seen that right front foot. Absolutely, that's real.
Yeah.
But that's going to bring up another conversation. But anyways,
Yep.
yes,
Yeah.
there's no hiding. That's why we have 5. They're not supposed to be the same.
You
unless
guys
it's
notice
that
some
obvious.
consistencies that you're hearing over here again and again. No, I really love that, bringing that up.
Can
Go
we
ahead.
talk about one thing?
Yeah.
So Brian and I had the same mentor, worked for the same trainer. We grew up, he in New York and I in Ontario, but 30 miles apart on the other side of Lake Ontario. We're roughly the same age, right? We went through the judging program together. We worked together in the judging program. I know him personally. I know what his beliefs are, his values are, his principles are. They're very similar to mine. And I'm going to say that his map of reality is very similar to mine. And 90% of the time, you know, we're pretty, and then every once in a while, with all these things in common, we see the same thing and we see it differently. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you're not going to find two people that are going to interpret things, are more likely to interpret it the same than us, and we still have differences. Now I get somebody that's from another country or who knows, you know, different background, and the differences could be even greater. I don't know. And I'm not worried about it as much as I think a lot of people are.
What I think will be interesting, just you sharing that right now, just made me think about this, is, you know, obviously the length of time and history with the organization and just reining horses in general that both of you gentlemen, as well as Jody, has. It's going to be very interesting that new judges coming in 20 years from now, this is their baseline, right? Where there's 30 or 50 head that are just amazing to watch. It's going to be very interesting to see. And of course, hopefully some other things evolve, but just the overall
I would agree, but one of
perspective.
the things we have to teach ourselves is, it's that fine distinction. You put bring Jody back in and let the three of us have the conversation on some of those hard things. There is no absolute. What's the answer? You put all three of our expertise, and it's the sum of that. That's why we use a multiple judge system.
Yep.
So as the
Makes
judges
sense.
that are coming into the industry now and working their way up, it's about staying true to that function, not trying to be like everybody else.
So in the history of the NRHA, when the classes went from having 10 entries to having 200 entries, we decided that the judges needed more tools to deal with the size of the classes. So the judges 20 years from now, if this is, you know, the way it's going to be and then continue to get better, maybe they need more tools to deal not only with the size of the classes, but with the quality of the classes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a thought.
Just a thought. We may have talked about that a time or two, huh, Brian? All right. Let's actually go. I want to keep going because there's quite a few maneuvers in this final review that is brought to you by Rancho El Fortín as well as 1030. The next one I actually want to move to is exhibitor 455. I want to look at maneuver 6. Now this is Matt. There is something that a question came
This is
up.
good stuff.
Talking about lead changes, though, out of the rollback. So I'd like one of you gentlemen to take that. That question did come up from a viewer.
Sure. This is good. This is very good. This is poor. And almost a try.
So you
Did
change
try it or
this?
not. Here's the change.
But on the wrong lead. Is that a penalty for them to be on the wrong lead?
No, it's not a penalty unless he starts the turn out, or he gets into that first quarter of the end. And he changed the lead, and he did it smoothly and obediently and willingly. So to me, there's no penalty and there's no maneuver deduction for the way he did it. Now, he could have done it so crudely that I would lower the maneuver score, even if I didn't give a penalty, but that's not the case here.
Yep. Yep. Great. I'm trying to find who exactly. Great question. All right. Get your last questions in right now. We have a couple more reviews, and then we're going to move on to our post show where we do have some additional giveaways. I just want to bring up, this is going to be our last one, actually, is exhibitor number 249. We are going to pull up maneuver 5. So circles we have talked about before being one of the more challenging maneuvers to evaluate.
It is. That's true.
Using the full scale. Here's a great example.
Well, that small slow is good. Wanted to be very good, but he almost got 4 BD, so he's back to plus half. And when he shifts gears, this is where he is, and this is very good. and now he's making me think he's excellent. Because look at his tracks. It's track over track.
Yeah.
It's just
fresh ground. Yep.
There's one set of tracks for two very
All
large,
of it.
very fast circles. You know how hard that is to do? I have to reward
that
this. I
speed.
can't put this guy in the same pigeonhole that I put all the ones that just go out there and do 3 circles. Mm-hmm. It's an excellent maneuver.
Excellent.
Authority, willingness, degree of difficulty, pleasing to watch, attitude, finesse.
Yep.
I mean, he ticked every box. So, door number
back
3.
it up to the middle.
To the middle?
Just so that- yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just bringing it all the way back, because the screen will show you some precision while we can remember right in our mind, but every part of that, it's excellent. Where we all get
Excuse me.
stuck is trying to find perfection. Don't. All you got to find is excellence. That's excellent.
You know, you said your viewers wanted to know how they could raise their score. Anybody on any horse can be precise.
And you can see the tracks. He's laying, when you talk about
Like when you
small,
see-
yes. If you took all that off, it just looks like the diagram in the book.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and he just did it one-handed.
Yeah. Even the diagram spreads it out a little
Right.
bit, so you can tell there's 3
So
circles.
you can tell there's 3 circles.
He didn't even do that.
So then you're
do
like,
that.
can I do
Right.
that
No.
or not?
No, don't do
or-
that. Don't do
Degree
it
of
like that.
difficulty, this is excellent. And look where he's changing. He's right in the middle, changing
I mean, you
leads.
can see his
he's
stop.
dead center.
Like he's right
yes. That's precision at its. Yep.
there. Yep. And, you know, $7 million rider. Amazing horse, like very good. But something that we can all use as a wonderful example to really teach us what good or excellent, I
Excellent.
should
That's
say.
excellent.
Excellent
That's an
looks
excellent
like.
set of circles.
Excellent
And,
looks
and
like.
it just comes to you.
I love it. I love it. Now, let's go ahead, and I just want to again thank Rancho L14 as well as 1030, your 2021 Open Fraternity Champion, for sponsoring our drag and reviews. If you love those drag and reviews, go ahead, pop down in the comments right now. Tell us what you loved the most. Did you like the drawing? Did you like the slow-mo? Was it the instant replay, the per maneuver, the conversation? Well, maybe not the conversation. We'll just talk about the tech. No, I'm just kidding. This is a great opportunity for us to all learn together. And so your questions really drove a lot of what I chose for the gentleman to further explain and analyze. So we really appreciate all of those comments. Let us know what you love the most about those Dragon reviews, brought to you by Rancho L14 as well as 1030. Now, we got so many questions. We got over 400 questions coming in across all the platforms of YouTube, Facebook, as well as the website. So just a few.
Reiner Stop University for reining. I'm just teasing. Go ahead.
Yeah, so there could be some exciting things coming. But what that also gives us, you participating today, Chelsea and I, like I said, we have Reiner Stop TV. That is our weekly podcast. And what we do there is we will actually use some of these questions that you presented, if they were not answered just in conversation through the analysis. We will actually bring those out in TV episodes, and we encourage you, if there is something you would like to learn more about, someone you would want to hear from. I see from Jackie, she made a comment that she enjoyed our interview, our Go Live series that we had at the Run for a Million with Josie Ann. Just hearing the background story of the horse. You know, we all love these horses, and we know horses change lives, so that's part of the education as well as the fun that we have here. Mm-hmm. So let's dive into our post show. We have a couple fun topics to talk about, as well as some additional prizes. Now, one thing I just want to jump back on is that I had asked a question to win a Stride Travel Ready program for $165, right? So this is the 3-day program that is provided by Stride with Bluebonnet as well. That I had asked a question, how much money did the winner of the Run for a Million take home? That was a trick question. I hope you guys got it. But Lindy Costello was our winner on that. I already called her out, but I didn't give you the answer. It was $500,000. So the winner took home $500,000, and then the rest of the money went to, you know, down the line through the exhibitors. Mm-hmm. But just tried to trick you guys, but Lindy got it. She was too fast. I also wanted to call out, you know, during our first drag and review break, I did throw out an opportunity through sharing the post for the Yeti to be able to win a travel ready bag, again brought to you by Stride. And that winner was Pat Regis. Pat Regis, you are our winner on that one. So we gave away 2 of those, and we still have the Yeti and another travel ready program to be able to give away. So Pat, congratulations. Any of the winners that I have called out today, make sure that you send us an email at support@reinerstop.com and or send us a DM. Anyone that tries to trick us, Chelsea and I are way too smart. We will get the winner prizes. So don't even try it. That being said, there was a lot of that going on at Run for a Million. So I hope no one fell, to any of those crazy ads that were coming out. Anyways, let's move on to our post show. Now, again, I'm so excited to have Mario join us as our special guest this time. Whatever, Brian, you're here again. But no, so excited to have both of you gentlemen. And what were you going to say?
Next time it's Jody and Mario. Brian's out.
Yeah, next time you're going to probably be you're going to be on the computers doing all this stuff. So what I'd like to talk about, we talked about strategic focus. Now I want to talk about something that really became apparent at this competition, and that was standardization, right? And how that can be applied per competition, what you guys are looking at. Mario, you made an excellent comment when we were preparing, just how the plus half is the new 0 for what we just saw right now, almost.
I did. And when I first said it, I said plus half is the new 0, and I thought, boy, that could create a lot of controversy. And maybe what I meant to say is it's the new, in a class like
average.
this, plus half is the new, is the average score. Like the average maneuver in a class like this is a plus half. And that's a mathematical term, So, yeah, if you consider 0 being the median score between -1.5 and +1.5, in that sense it's a 0. But if you take all the maneuvers in that class and divide the scores, so I think the average score is a plus half in a class like that. But where do you see that? I mean, I don't know if this will continue. Not every show, obviously, but a lot of good riders, a lot of good horses. They seem to understand how to get credit. They seem to understand how to avoid losing credit. And even good riders and good horses, they make mistakes. They overspin. They break. I mean, it happens.
We saw it. Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's why that's why it's hard. And I remember this. We were talking about the judging system and when it started in 1985, and everybody said, well, why are we doing this? And we said we want to make it better, and it did make it better. We see this. It did make it better. Here's the result. And I remember in those days that I thought the horses were, some of them, not all of them, but some of them were pretty cool. And I remember Dale Wilkinson saying, we've only scratched the surface. And by putting these penalties in for overspinning and trotting out of rollbacks, which we didn't always have, you could kind of trot into the circle and that was okay, and you could flop around real fast, and if you were over under a little bit, and he's trying hard, what the heck,
Yeah.
And Dale said, if we add these and make it more systematic and more objective, it will get better. And he said, we've only scratched the surface. And I remember thinking, well, that's a bold statement. Well, guess what? He was right. And here we saw it.
Here we are.
Here we saw it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
On standardizing?
Yeah.
I think we need to standardize per level of competition in today's industry. What we've tried to do from the beginning was standardize the whole industry. A 70 was a 70 and a 72 was a 72. One, it's not true. Never was. Great thought, but we got to get over it and get beyond it. And should a 70 in a rookie in a green is different than a 70 in the 150,000 shootout, and was different than a 70 in the Run for the Million, and is different than the Derby finals and all the rest of them. So the number is real, and how we get to the end, the number is real, but the standard, the 0, that correct? We just proved it for the first time in my lifetime. If you pulled up those scores, he's 100% correct. You pull up a score sheet, a 10-horse score sheet, and it is dominated by 0. You'll have a few plus halves and a few minus halves, and there might be 1 plus 1 in there.
Yep.
That's kind of normal if you looked across the industry. This thing just changed that by going up. It was filled with plus halves and plus 1s. And you saw some plus 1.5s. You saw very few 0s, which is correct. The industry has taken a whole step up. Standardization has to move with it. So a standard at the green, if we want to encourage people. Should more people ride horses? Yes. Should more people ride reining horses? Yes. Now what do we have to do? Give them proper steps to develop skills as they wish. And you can go as far as you want.
Yep.
Yes, but it should be standardized. So a 70 in a rookie class is not a 70 in the Run for the Million. It's not.
And I think, you know, just it's interesting. Chelsea and I had the opportunity to speak with, you know, quite a few rookie and green as grass riders that are part of our Reiner Stop Nation. So lucky to have you guys. And it's that feeling of like, oh, I don't know that I can do that. Like if that's a plus half, I'm never going to get a plus half, you know. And so I think to your point is that they are different, but how do we address that?
Not hard.
Okay.
It's not. It's through the application. There's two parts of it. One is competition coming to you, but it's to the officiating program as it deals with competition. Can the middle be more lenient in a green class than it is in the Run for the Million? Yes. The rule book says it's 3 strides and you can do all that stuff. Does it have to be that way across the entire sport? And the answer is no. No. You play t-ball, you put the ball on the stick and you'll go whack it. That's different than somebody pitching it to you and slow pitch and fast pitch and overhand and overhand. Yep. I can go down, you can take all sports and do all that stuff. When I tell you that I shoot under par on the golf course, but I didn't tell you which tee box I teed off of, it's a different standard.
Yep.
You know, but I'm not on the tour, so it's the same thing.
Yep.
The Run for the Million's our tour, so that's okay.
Yeah.
If you want to, you can go. If you don't, we got some fun stuff next week in Scottsdale, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Marty, you have anything to add to that?
Oh gosh,
it was a long.
Oh no!
It was a long.
I'm like, I think our post show is changing right now. This is a great conversation.
He was talking about t-ball, and I was thinking about when I was about a 22-year-old trainer, and every time I went to an open reining, there was no divisions, and there was Bill Horn, Paul Horn, Bob Anthony, Bob Loomis for the other 4 entries in the class, and me. And I said, I love that t-ball thing. That sounded great.
Can I go back to the t-ball? T-ball level, I'm
Where's
good.
the t-ball? Where's the t-ball?
I love it. No, I think that this is, you know, we like to talk about, you know, different things here in our post show. Again, a lot of it is derived not only from the competition in which we're seeing, but the industry, right? Conversations that we hear, DMs that we get from our Reiner Stop Nation, we are listening to you, and so we got to talk about some of these and what can we do.
I would tell you that what they're doing at Run for the Million event is setting a new standard for our entire industry, changing everything that we're doing for the good. Wednesday was rookie day, and Thursday was non-pro day, and Friday was cow horse and qualify shootout day, and Saturday was Run for the $1 million payout day. Every one of those standards, those are chronological steps, and I give them tremendous credit and kudos for doing that. But every one of those is a standard step that is different in our industry, and I think we need to start paying attention to that because all of our events should start to look at how do you do that better for the exhibitors and the enthusiast.
Big time.
Because a lot of those enthusiasts do want to get involved with horses, and we want them to ride reining horses.
Oh, heck yeah, absolutely.
So why not?
Now, before we continue this conversation, I want to do a couple more giveaways because you spurred something that made me want to bring up kind of a second part of this discussion. But before we do, let's go ahead and do, I was looking at some more of our fun trivia questions, and I want to ask them, and I really want to give away some more prizes. And actually, this next prize is brought to you by Blue Collar Horse Company. So Blue Collar was so gracious to be able to sponsor some Apple AirPods. Who could use that? And one of the things that Blue Collar does is that they really listen to their customers to be able to match them to the right horse. So you want to make sure that you follow them on Facebook and listen, AirPods. Is that fun? I want the winner of those on either Facebook, anywhere, Facebook, YouTube, or reinerstop.com. Let us know what the name of your horse was and which show you were at that you scored your first 70. Let us know in the comments, and then our team is going to let me know who that winner is. So the name of your horse and which show you scored your first 70 at. Now, I also want to give away, this is ridiculous, a full pair of Holla denim jeans. A full pair. These jeans are absolutely amazing. They are coming out with new styles all the time, and the best way to make sure that you do not miss out on any of these styles and or which horse shows they're at is you are going to want to make sure that you follow them over on Instagram. And that is Holla_denim. Make sure that you go over there and follow them. Now, with Holla, I am going to ask a trivia question, and that question is, who wrote A General? Who wrote A General in the NRHA rule book? You know they know, but I'm curious if you know. I didn't until 2 hours ago, 2 hours and 45 minutes ago. So very exciting. All right, so who wrote A General? You are gonna win a full pair, an actual pair of Holla denim jeans, and they are traveling to all the horse shows. So you're gonna wanna make sure that you can pick it up there. All right, now before we go on to our last two prizes, I wanna just move on to kind of the second side of what you were talking about is the spectator. Because one of the things, you know, we have discussed in the past is using the sum of scores as opposed to all scores. And what was very interesting that I saw at Run for a Million, and you were just, you know, showing your appreciation for the event, and we talked about this with Amanda Brumley, with Gary Carpenter, with Anna Morrison, the leaders of NRCHA, NRHA, is just the event and spectator driven. What was very interesting in the graphics display was beautiful at the event is they kept showing the whole, like the leaderboard, essentially our leaderboard, and they showed just the mains, just the sum, right? And who was in there. And it just kept you going like golf or like the Olympics. It's you were like, oh, they're in the lead. Oh, they're not. It wasn't the individual scores. What can that do for our industry if we just use the sum of the score versus always looking at the individual scores?
Well, I think it's an easier education to everybody that's watching it. So the simple information, how do you get that to them quicker, more readily? And what's important is the score, not the parts that got to the score, whether it's a 2-judge, 3-judge, or 5-judge system. We are so stuck. We're still stuck. We've been stuck forever in this who marked me how. It actually doesn't matter. What matters is how did they mark me? Who won the reining? Who won the Open at the Congress? Who won the Run for the Million? The score was a 230. Am I allowed to talk about it? Anyway, so I won't. It's up there. It's not the sum of the parts. So yes, there's no rule. The score has to be announced. Well, that's a 228 for the 150,000. That's it.
And it's like, it's funny, when you were just mentioning that, I was thinking about 1030 winning the Futurity last year. I don't know what the individual scores were.
Who cares?
It doesn't matter. He won. Right. Like, that was the thing. Yeah.
Owner might, breeder might, Casey might, go let him look, fine. Because those parts tell them details. But we as an industry are stuck in the parts, forget it. It's the end score, 228, 227 and a half, 227, 226 and a half. That's the system working, making very fine distinctions. How did they do that? Because they used 5 judges. If they only used 2 or 3, you would have seen them all tied up.
Yep, absolutely.
Him Mario. And I were tied up almost because you only had 2.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Go.
Mario, what are your thoughts on that?
I have lots of thoughts on it. Yeah, so when you have a 5-judge...
Fair.
When you have a 5-judge
make sure you
team,
come in. We
team.
want to hear your answer, so make sure you stay in screen for this.
Soft-spoken, that's what I'm famous for.
No.
When you have a 5-judge team, that's what it is. It's a team. It's not 5 individuals. It's a team. And so the result is much more than the sum of the parts. It's working together cohesively for a common goal, and almost always it's a group that they trust each other, they admire each other, they respect each other's competence, ability, and intentions to do a good job and be honest and sincere. And working as a team, they will produce the result of finding the winner and separating the other places or whatever appropriately. Brian and I talked about this. Finding the winner is great, and as a judge, as I said earlier, I'm excited really if I found a winner, you know. But it's a lot of money being handed out below first place too, and it's just as important for the guy that's second, third, and fourth that you get it right as the guy that's first. And if you're maybe lucky enough to find a winner and then you have a 97-way tie for second through 96th, somebody's suffering. Some breeder didn't get the earnings on his stallion and mare. Some owner didn't get the earnings. Some trainer didn't get, you see what I mean, that they were entitled to, that they worked very hard to, and they deserve it just as much as the winner.
Yeah.
So you can say, well, if they're tied, they're tied. You can say that, but it may not be true. So I think the team, yeah, it's very important. I've worked on those teams, and I've been proud to learn something every time and be a small part of a big deal. That's the goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you have anything to add?
It's a small part of a big deal. He's great at that.
Oh my gosh.
And both, putting it in words, but also that.
Yep.
So anyways, yeah, being a very significant part of a big deal. So
Yeah. And, you know, I think today, you know, Chelsea and I set out to do something different, and you guys are both a big
part of a big deal.
You guys are a big part of a small deal that we're doing. So I just want to say thank you. You know, obviously for your time, for being here. I do have a couple more giveaways, and you guys that are still with us, and I'm getting some messages in. We still have such a great audience, and we just want to thank you for participating. If you really enjoyed both Brian and Mario and their expertise that they were able to share based upon the competition that we analyzed today, please let us know in the comments. What did you love? Thank them. Trust me, we're going to share this with them. We want to have them back. It's Mario's first time, so jury's still out whether he's coming back again. Brian might be stuck with us. I don't know. I don't know.
Might be the other way around. Brian might be out.
No. So let us know. Now let's get to these last two giveaways. Now we have a solo stove. And this is a little personal stove. This is actually a giveaway brought to you by 100X Equine. Now this solo stove is valued at around $200. It's actually a little bit more. And what we want to do with that solo stove is we would like you. We have so many people. I just got word we have so many people on YouTube as well as Facebook. We want to make sure that you become part of our Reiner Stop Nation. So we encourage you, and this is how the winner will be picked, is to go over to reinerstop.com and sign up to be part of our email community. It's absolutely free. We do not spam you. We just bring you timely and relevant information in a very condensed manner so that you can participate more. So the winner there is going to be picked from an email sign up. So go ahead and make sure that you do that, reinerstop.com. Now, I do want to say, before I move on to our final prize, is that the prizes don't stop here on the Bluebonnet Show Time. We are going to have additional prizes that we are going to give over the next couple weeks. So during this Bluebonnet Show Time, you are actually viewing it live. Because we understand the value of being able to review this information that was shared today, Chelsea and I will make this available for 2 additional weeks so that you can watch or replay or share or ask additional questions to those around you. And so we will have some additional prizes brought to you by our wonderful sponsors, Bluebonnet and Stride, over the next couple weeks. So you're not going to want to miss out. Make sure you're staying tuned to our social media. And then I want to say right now with our Yeti, so this is a $250 Yeti filled with a bag, a 3-day supply, a full bag of their Travel Ready program, which I reviewed earlier. This is an amazing program. If you have that horse ready to go, especially right now in the summer, but anytime, this is going to ensure their safety and their health and well-being, which we know that we care about so much. And that went to someone who shared and tagged the posts that we had on both Instagram as well as Facebook. And it just popped in. All right, Lisa, I'm going to mispronounce your name. Guam?
Guerney.
Guerney? There's an N in there. Guerney. Lisa, we will make sure that we reach out to you as well, but make sure all of the winners, congratulations, Lisa, for winning this Yeti. It is going to be coming to you, proudly presented by Bluebonnet Feeds. And make sure all of the winners that you are sending us emails at support@reinerstop.com and or DMs in our Instagram and Facebook. And last but not least, Nichols 06, that's Nichols with a K, Nichols 06, you are going to win our solo stove from 100X Equine. Thank you for that email sign up. We are excited to have you take that home and enjoy it. All right, now let's get into some final details here, because this is not our last showtime for the year. We do have one additional showtime that is coming up, and that is going to be at the High Roller Reining Classic. So we will be once again back in Vegas at the South Point Casino, which we absolutely love. Now, again, keep watch on the social media for Reiner Stop. You're going to see additional prizes brought to you by Bluebonnet Feeds. And as I close up here, I again just want to thank you both. Acknowledge you, Mario and Brian, for all of your knowledge, your expertise, the jokes, I guess, that come through it, and just sharing that love for the sport. You two have both absolutely dedicated your lives and continue to do so, and we're so excited to have you join us in this new digital format to be able to reach the masses. So thank you both.
Well, thank you for inviting me, Chelsea and Shelley and everyone from Reiner Stop and Brian. I told Brian I wouldn't be here if I didn't want to be, and I'm really glad I came.
Oh, good. Well, we're glad you did too.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. All right, and then I do want to just thank you again. Now, you guys were able to view today's Bluebonnet Show Time absolutely free. This is because of our amazing sponsors. Chelsea and I set out on a mission to be able to make this free to the masses. And because of our sponsors, we were able to do that. So since they gave you guys so much love, we hope that you give them the same love. I would reach out to them, follow them all on social media. I'm going to list them off right now. You can see many of them at many events that are out there. But the best thing to do is follow them on social media and or make sure you go over to their websites and look at their amazing products. I'm going to list those. We have Bluebonnet Feeds as well as Stride Animal Nutrition. They were our naming sponsor and our Go Live sponsor. If you love those Go Lives that we did at the event, how fun was that? We had so many interviews that were truly heartfelt. Love that. Blue Collar Horse Company, Showstop and Pads, CR Ranchwear, letting our experts look so good, as well as 100X Equine, Rancho L14, as well as 1030, Holla Denim. All right, who doesn't love some amazing gifts? We appreciate not only learning, but you guys got to get some amazing gifts, so we are so grateful for them. Make sure that you show them that same love. Thank you to Brumley Management as well as Taylor Sheridan for the opportunity to be able to comment on this $150,000 open shootout that was held at the Run for $1 Million. Thank you to Horse Show Global as well as Lavoie Shepherd for absolutely killing it on the videography and bringing through just a beautiful competition for us to view today. And then last but not least, thank you to all of you. You are what drive Chelsea and I to keep bringing what we are to you, whether it is our showtime and or our TV episodes. It is the stories that we heard. Chelsea and I just absolutely, all the stories of everyone coming up to us at the Run for $1 Million event. We had our amazing booth, our backdrop. It looked beautiful with Bluebonnet on it. And it's the stories. it's the green as grassers, it's the rookies. We absolutely love hearing that. But you know what? We also love the comments from the exhibitors that are like, I had no idea that that was a penalty, or I had no idea how I could take my 0 to a +1/2. That's what we want to do here. So when you do see us, we love those messages, and we're pretty pumped after coming back from Run for a Million, so thank you. So with that, I would ask that you tune in to our next showtime. That is going to be on September 19th. We are going to be covering, like I said, the High Roller Reining Classic. And until that time, we just thank you so much for joining today's Bluebonnet Showtime, and we will see you next time.